original podcast network. Welcome to the underground.
From the underground.
My favorite podcast.
Check out DJ. Check out Big Ass. Check out Dust.
My favorite podcast.
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
Voice from the underground.
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Via You Podcast.
Welcome to the underground.
Voice from the underground.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Voice from the Underground, the podcast. We are the podcast where politics and pop culture collide, go bang.
Boom, boom.
It's me, Jason Dutch, and I'm here, Big Hussein free today, at least for the beginning of the show, where he has a cigar event today, so he's not going to be here in the beginning, but I have my producer extraordinaire. You know him as the executive producer of the Academy Award-winning film, The Shawshank Redemption, Mickey Antifa.
Hello, Dutch. How are you?
Yes. Too bad they never gave you credit for that.
That's what they do, though. That's what they do.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
like
you're right.
negative 10 years old also, so.
You were also the voice of Anna in Frozen, correct?
Yes, that was me. That was some of my my best voice acting work. I was also
And Willow.
what was that snowball's name?
Olaf.
Olaf. Yes, I was also Olaf.
Yes, I know all my Disney stuff. I got little kids. So welcome back to the program, ladies and germs. Quite, an uneventful week, kinda, sorta,
Nothing
because usually have too much to talk about here on the show, and today there's nothing to talk about. So I'll see you next week on Voice from the Underground.
Just wanted to check in with everybody, say hello,
Yeah.
and see you
Just let
later.
you all know that we're here. We do have the new gear in, okay?
I'm rocking
so
the
for
OG
the-
gear. OG
Yeah,
gear
he's-
for me.
Yeah, so show him the OG gear first. You got the old Voice from the Underground logo, right? And here's the new gear.
Boo. No.
Okay, so you can get that new gear if you would like. It's at www.teepublic.com. That's teepublic.com. Mike, you can throw that on the screen if you want. teepublic.com/user/VFU podcast if you guys want to go and get some VFU gear. The t-shirts start at, I think, $17. They have a sale like once or twice a week, so you can get that. You can get some face mask, hoodie, whatever you want. There are the old design is on there still as well for the short term, but those proceeds do obviously help the podcast. If you want to support this show in any way, shape, or form, you can certainly do that, and we won't tell you not to. That's for darn sure. You can just go to www.patreon.com/VFU podcast and help us out there. You can sign up at $2 a month. You can sign up at $5 a month. You can sign up at $10 a month. And that you can see there at the bottom of the screen. So if you do that, you'll get you some blankety blank. And thank you to our new patron. Very happy to have a new patron on the show. Mr. Blake Braden,
Ooh.
who is signed up for us at the fancy. He is a fancy pants. So Mr. Blake Braden, welcome to the show. He's been listening for a while. He's actually, he discovered us through the Jock and Nerd podcast, our good friends over there. So
Good lads, them.
they're good lads. I think he gives Jock and Nerd like $100 a month, and he gives us $2. So, we know where we're at on the pecking order, Blake. It's okay that we're not number one.
Be too
So
bad if
fuck you.
be too bad if something happened to your favorite podcast because you only
Yeah,
gave us $2.
It would be too bad if something happened to Tony and Imran, because Rug Boy would have to take over, and then that show would be shit. So I'd have to go there, and then maybe TJ and Mikey. So yeah. So we're gonna usurp and take over that podcast, and then we'll get Blake Braden's $190 a month or whatever he gives them too. So Ha, 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 ha. All right. So, Mikey, we'll introduce our guest here in a second. Anything on the Antifa front to report? Have you any murders or fires you started today?
I just have lots of soup for my family.
Okay, lots of soup.
Soup for my
Chicken noodle.
Oh, it's got to be chicken soup, huh? See how he starts with me, y'all? See how he starts? He tries to slip it in all undercover. You ain't slick, Dutch. I caught your chicken reference. Fried chicken soup? That's not even a thing.
No.
But it should be. I'm writing that down.
Just bubbling out of me today. So let's introduce our guests for today's show. We have two guests today. One, two. That are with us today. So first and foremost, ladies first. We will introduce our first guest on the show, Miss Vanessa Gordon. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. Yeah.
Related to Commissioner Gordon of Batman fame, I take it.
Commissioner's niece.
That one just flew right over your head there. I see. So, not a comic book fan, Vanessa?
Touch and go.
Gary Oldman in the Batman, the later Batman series, that's Commissioner Gordon.
Yes, and his daughter is Batgirl.
Batgirl.
Right. But not Vanessa Barbara. Maybe you're like a sister who is like an attorney or something like that.
Yeah.
And gets killed early in the movie. So welcome to the show, Vanessa. And I'll introduce a little bit more about what you guys do here. And well, actually, you know what? Vanessa, before we introduce Tim, why don't you give the listener the quick little elevator pitch on who you are, what you do, you know, what you're here to promote, that sort of stuff.
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
Who you be?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Oh my God. I just flew into California. I was on a 6-hour flight from New York, so it's still on that East Coast time. But anyway, my name is Vanessa. It was a solid 6 hours. Yeah.
Oh man, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually safe flying experience. No problems. Anyway.
Was everyone wearing a mask?
Yeah. Like N95s, the whole bit, hand sanitizer everywhere, you know, bag snacks.
What airline?
I flew JetBlue.
JetBlue? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to be on a plane on Wednesday going from California to Chicago to hang out with that jerk. So not quite as long as what you have. So you're from New York and you're in Chicago, or I'm sorry, and you're in California, and you're up north, right?
No, I'm in outside of Los Angeles.
Oh, you're okay. So you're not far from me. I'm in Bakersfield right now. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We're not that far. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So we'll get some Jello shots afterwards.
What are you, 19? Sneaking into a frat party?
Absolutely not.
Doing some boofing?
You want to go do some Jello? That would be like the worst pickup line of all time, right? Hey, you want to go do some Jello shots with me?
Oh my God.
No, I don't.
Rather perish.
So you give us your background.
Sure. No, I'm the CEO and founder of East End Taste Magazine. We're a digital publication. We're based out on Eastern Long Island, and we are also a marketing and media platform. We do events out on the eastern end of Long Island, or known as the famous Hamptons, every summer season. Of course, though, because of the pandemic, we've had to shift gears, so to say, and we are actually in the process of launching a lifestyle brand in tandem with the media and marketing company. So it should be interesting.
Live on Long Island.
Where?
Bellport Village.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's about an hour, 15 minutes from me.
Yeah. That place
Cool.
sucks. I'm a Midwesterner at heart, so I was just looking around. I'm like, I don't see the appeal. I was like, I'm gonna take like a 40-minute walk, and I went to go look at the ocean.
Right.
Yuck. Oh my God. It was
my
all
God.
brown and nasty. I was like, oh no, New York, you let me down.
Oh my God.
I was expecting like an orca to be just like leaping out of the water and just.
We have seals out in Montauk. They're pretty cool, but they're only like November to March, and then they're out of there. But
nice.
Doing seal stuff.
And now is that like with Best Version Media or some other, like a magazine entrepreneur network, or is that something you do on your own?
It's actually something I do. I started it. I own the company, but we have a small staff of how many do we have? About 12, 8 part-time, 2 full-time, and then we have freelance as well. So we have a whole team of people, and I've kept them all on through this whole situation.
Good for you.
With kept them all on. I actually hired four new people since this, so we're
nice.
picking up steam, but we're pivoting with we're selling a line of masks right now, and lifestyle apparel, beach gear, etc. So we're gonna be launching that actually in the next couple weeks. Actually, we're designing the website right now, or that part of the website.
That's excellent.
Awesome.
That's excellent
Yeah.
to see that there's businesses evolving and moving with the times, as opposed to just standing there and pouting.
I'm usually doing events. We were actually planning to do four significant dinners, one large event out east this summer, but poof, gone. Gone. And I usually travel every 6 weeks, so it's quite bizarre. So we've had to do what we have to do. And then I have a master's in education, so I was actually private tutoring all summer.
See?
Cool.
Yeah. So I'd have.
Well, you're finding stuff to do. That's good, because it's not as easy.
I kept busy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Definitely not easy for everybody. But but it's good to see that you found something. So real quick, we'll skirt over here to our next guest. Joining us from the writer's basement, Tim Bristol,
yes,
Connecticut, home of ESPN Studios. They named it after you, right?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. They named it after me. Yes, as you can see, I'm actually in a basement too. This is my basement. This is where we do the podcast.
You have Christmas lights up down there already?
Oh yeah, all the time. It's Christmas all year.
No red holiday cups for him.
I've brought back Christmas, and it's in Tim Bristol's basement. I brought it back all by myself. So Tim, give us your in a nutshell.
Sure. So I am a lot of things. It's crazy. So the Writer's Basement podcast is a podcast about writing and pop culture, basically. But during the day, my day job is I'm a political scientist.
Nice.
I have a bachelor's in political science from Southern Connecticut State University. I'm currently going for my master's. I'm a member of the New England Political Science Association. I've written a bunch of papers that no one will ever read but me. And I've run for office a few times.
Modesty is good.
Yeah. I've ran for mayor of Shelton, Connecticut. I ran for a town council in Stratford, where I currently live. And I've run a few political campaigns too.
Oh, nice.
Why do people hate you so much that you haven't gotten one of those jobs?
Because
you didn't gerrymander enough. You weren't corrupt. What's the problem?
It was gerrymandered before I got there.
Awesome. So you're an let's call you an aspiring politician. So we probably have the soon-to-be president and vice president of the United States here as our guests on the show. I just don't know which will be which. You guys will probably be running mates.
I don't want president. That's all I'm saying. I don't want president. I'd rather be VP. They get more free time.
Well, they had some free time last night, and we'll go into that in a minute. But first, we're going to play a game with you guys called 4 Down Territory. Okay, so 22, 51, set, hike. Bears win, by the way. Big victory.
I gotta get you a sound clip for that, because because I like you doing it differently every time. It just brings a little something. It's like homemade. It's not perfectly square. I
just gotta get the crowd noise in there. So, okay. So again, we'll do ladies first. Now, when I was doing some research on you, Vanessa, I saw on your Facebook page a lot of food related content.
Right.
So my first question for you is going to be this. What is your favorite food, or what was your favorite food as a kid that you fucking hate now?
Oh my God. Okay. So I had a huge sweet tooth growing up. I mean, the stuff that I ate would shock people. Like, no joke. Okay, so you know those like not really sweet. I'm going actually salty then sweet. Start with sweet, salty. So you know those those crackers with that like really salty cheese. What are they like? Cheese with the cheese those cheese
Yeah.
sandwich cookies.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
literally grab like 20 of those and scrape off all the cheese, make one giant sandwich, and just stuff my
I did that
face.
with Oreos.
Oh God, I did. Oh yeah, we would do like the quadruple stuff to just eat it. We were just oh my God, we were such great. It was me and my cousins like out in Long Island. We'd all like get together and like it was like my 80-year-old grandpa was watching us and he was like sleeping half the time, so he never knew what we were doing. So we would take like gallons of ice cream and then we would literally dig through. They had those special edition like limited edition like football little chocolate
right.
football stuffed with peanut butter. We would dig through that, get like we were on an excavation, grab all those football stuff, peanut butter stuffed footballs, put them in a bowl and eat it. Just leave the ice cream.
Oh.
So my grandfather would get so pissed, and my grandma would like flip out, like who the, like oh my God, Eugene, who did this? They started cursing at us in Italian. It was
Oh my
laughing.
God.
It was crazy. Yeah, we were pretty gross what we used to eat. So with that being said, I physically can't eat like that anymore. Like I just can't.
Probably good for the waistline not to do that too.
The sweetest thing I eat is like watermelon. I can't. That's and even for like some friends of mine like that are really like sugar snobs. They're like, oh my God, that's so sweet. I go.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
we'll
how my
see.
wife is. She hates anything sweet. Well, not hates,
Yeah.
but very much
Yeah.
against it. So
My turn.
Mikey, do you want to take whoever you want to go to, whatever you want to say?
I'll double up on Vanessa, then we'll both tag team Tim next.
All right, a menage. Usually you pay double for that action.
I
Cotton.
didn't know this was this kind of podcast. Just gonna say that.
I had to get the dodgeball line in there.
Too
Okay.
late now. So dollars to donuts. Gordon Ramsay or Bobby Flay?
Depends upon my mood. I've met I've met Bobby Flay. He's a tad full, in my opinion, a little full of himself in person. He's nice. But I mean, I like Gordon Ramsay's edge, but for me, it wears off after. I can't take too much of him. But if I were to choose, I would rather have a conversation with Gordon Ramsay.
Yes. I like
Perfect.
your pick because Gordon is my man.
He
inspired me to cook.
He does a lot of great recipes. Like he breaks it down. Like he does like a really great. If you Google like Gordon Ramsay like omelet, he really knows how to put it all together. And he's very clean when he explains his recipes and his technique.
Yeah, his YouTube channel is one rabbit hole of the internet that I have to steer myself away from, or else I can't come out. I'll be in there 6 days.
Right.
I'm like, did you know that we could make? She's like, can you just stop? You can't cook
Yeah.
everything in the house.
He's fascinating. Right, we didn't care for when Bobby Flay stood on top of the. He famously stood on top of a cutting board, and he really pissed off Morimoto. And he's not someone I would want to piss off. And it kind of threw me off, honestly, when he did that.
He's the man, though. he's the ironist of. He's the titanium chef.
Right.
Can't nobody touch my boy over there.
There we go. Okay, so we have 2 down for Vanessa. So 2 questions here for Tim.
Sure.
Okay, so being that you're into politics, you have to pick one person to be the president of the United States of 2 failed presidential nominees from the past. However, they both will have odd running mates. You can either vote for the ticket, and your vote puts in the president starting January 21st of this year.
Okay.
Mitt Romney and Roger Stone,
What the hell?
or Al Gore and or Al Gore and Jill Stein. Go.
Oh my God. Al Gore and Jill Stein. Definitely. I don't want Roger Stone anywhere near the vice president or the president. Like, what if Mitt Romney dies?
With Roger Stone, he's definitely going to die.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. If Roger Stone's in the conversation, then I'll take Jill Stein any day.
Yeah.
and Alyssa Milano as Secretary of the Treasury, I would imagine. So
yeah.
perfect. All right, so
I'm ready.
Mikey, your question for Tim.
What is the best book turned movie?
The best book turned movie? Oh, that's tough. So,
Gonna make some
all right,
people now.
I'm gonna go old school a little bit, because it was my favorite book turned movie, but The Lord of the Rings.
Safe choice. Safe choice.
Yeah. Okay. If it were
I-
available, would Game of Thrones be? Because it's not a movie, obviously, but
So my issue with Game of Thrones, and I love me some Game of Thrones. My
Okay.
issue is that R.R. Martin is just sandbagging on that last book, and I don't really know how I felt about the last couple seasons of Game of Thrones. Like now that it's
Yeah.
over, I'm not really sure. The first like 4 or 5 seasons, fantastic. 6 and 7, not so sure.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that everyone shares that with you.
Only
mean,
for people
I
who
didn't-
watched it week by week. I waited to the very end and started watching when season 8 came
A
out.
lot of people did that.
So I got no interruptions. I was like, I'll see what the big deal is. Seems good to me.
Did you watch Game of Thrones, Vanessa?
I've
No.
seen little
Oh,
bits and clips. It's so fun. Someone asked me today, like, Vanessa, what do you watch on TV? And I'm like, I'm really boring. Really boring. Like, so boring. Like,
watches
I'm like,
Bobby Flay.
Food Network. That's pretty much it. I'm
Well,
really Travel Channel. That's it. I'm
And
boring.
by the way, Gordon Ramsay all the way. Like I detest Bobby Flay.
I like Bobby. He's so
Yeah.
cocky with it, though. There's something about it. It ain't
but
bragging if you can do it, you know. And that is Bobby Flay.
But all of the shows Bobby Flay has are him trying to one up a person.
Yeah.
It's all beat Bobby Flay and also
Yeah.
like it's so full of himself.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I wouldn't know because I don't watch any of those shows.
Can I have an intersectional question?
Yes, you can have an intersectional question. Of course, we love intersectionality.
So for you being the foodie and you being the author, how bereft were you when we lost our boy Tony? Bourdain.
Oh
It
yeah.
Yeah.
That like
It didn't shock me at all.
Like I got it. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
totally. If you watched it,
Have you read any of his books?
I'm buying it now.
He was depressed from the get, like from the first sentence, you could feel it. Feel there's some underbody, like almost a damned underbody. I don't know how to explain it, but it seemed like a miserable, like very, like he had how do I explain? He had some deep rooted darkness in him. Unfortunately, that's what it's. And I met him in 2014 at a place called Guildhall in East Hampton, close to where I live, and he was doing a book signing with Florence Fabricant, who's a New York Times food critic, and he was a doll. It was so funny how people were surrounding him, and I remember he stood there, and almost as he couldn't really look any. He would smile, have a soft smile, and he would look at me like, "Why do people care about me so much?" And he was so humble, but there was a sadness in him.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Sounds like you're describing Princess Leia's mother from Star Wars. Remember, it's like I remember her. She was beautiful, but so sad. But Tim, I interrupted you. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, I was gonna say I was secretly on the Food Network a little while ago. I was
you
on.
Photobombed it or something, or what?
No, I wasn't supposed to be on it, but I ended up on it. So what happened is one of the restaurants I was working for as a line cook got on Restaurant Impossible with Robert Irvine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And at the time, I was just the delivery guy. I got sort of a last minute promotion to line cook because the chefs couldn't speak a whole lot of English.
Mm-hmm.
Caramba! Yeah. And I got a crash course in how to cook the food for the relaunch. And for 2 hours, Robert Irvine sat in the service window and yelled at me.
Nice.
Very good.
He threatened
really
to be
buff dude, right?
Yeah. He's super jacked, and he's much bigger in person. He threatened
6'8".
he threatened to beat me up because I couldn't make a salad correctly.
Oh my geez. Oh, that's there's some real pieces of work in this world. But all right, let's push forward with so we're at we'll say that because Mikey asked the intersectional question, that's 3 questions each. So I'll ask one last question to both of you. Okay. Because I like this question and I'm asking it to Vanessa first. I've asked this question before and but I haven't asked it to a woman. So I want your answer to this. If you could be any superhero, Marvel, DC, doesn't matter, and have all their powers plus, their, some version of their life, which superhero would Vanessa Gordon be?
I'm not too. I'm familiar with I mean, we always talk about at home about Flash Gordon, but it's more like I have a 3-year-old son, so we always like kind of say that he's Flash Gordon. As far as myself, oh God, I
hopefully not the Flash Gordon from Ted.
No.
the old decrepit doing cocaine and off of boobs Flash Gordon. That would not be an ideal situation for a young boy. No, probably not.
Oh my God, I always wish that they did like a Spider Girl. So I would like Spider Man, but female. There is. Oh,
yeah, there's multiples actually, but they're just not.
Oh, really?
Well-known. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I was gonna say like something like that, like something mysterious, where all of a sudden like you flip a switch and you like turn into the superhero and you're able to, I don't know, like
Since you have
walk up walls and
since you have a
stuff.
small child, you should definitely get on Netflix and watch Into the Spider-Verse with him. It has
Into the Spider-Verse.
all the different Spider-Man iterations, and it's
okay.
it's a kids movie, but it's really good. It's
Yeah.
really
Oh,
good.
cool.
You'll like it.
Yeah, it's got Spider Gwen, which is the female one of the couple comic book Spider Girls. So he would probably and she's more of a hero, I think, than Peter Parker is in that movie.
Yeah.
So all right, Tim, last question is for you. Let's see here. Let's do this one. Who is your favorite actor and why is it Kevin Bacon?
It's not Kevin Bacon.
Tremors.
It's not Kevin Bacon. Man, favorite actor.
You are fake news.
I'm gonna have to say Tom Hanks. I mean, you can't hate Tom Hanks. He's the best in everything he does.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tom Hanks. And what's your favorite Tom Hanks role? Woody?
My favorite Tom Hanks role is gonna have to be man, I can't remember the name of the movie now. It's the one where he was the ship captain on the ship that got captured.
Oh, Forrest. Oh, I thought you were going to say Forrest Gump.
Captain Phillips, I think it was.
Okay.
Captain Phillips.
Yeah,
that was really good. I like that.
Okay. Captain Phillips, it is.
Tom
All right.
Hanks, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In my head, you said Tom Cruise, and I'm like,
oh,
the wrong Tom.
I mean, Top Gun is a really good movie. I'm just saying.
Why is he picking Tom Cruise? Was he going to go back to fucking
Did the new one come into theaters yet? I know that I saw the previews.
It got bumped. It got bumped like everything else.
Okay. So let's move on real quick. I'll edit this part out of the audio version. Vanessa, I think your mic every time when you're breathing out, it's going.
Oh my God.
Yeah, can you move it up or down a little bit? There you go. Yeah. Every time you do a deep exhale, it's causing a big noise. So no big deal, but we got that fixed. So all right, so let's move on with the podcast while she is adjusting her microphone there. We're going to start out talking about the VP debates from yesterday. So I will play a little bit of, this is about a 3-minute and 30-second clip. I doubt I'll get through the whole thing. There are some moments of silence, but I'll kind of use those as segues to talk about what they're talking about. It's just a quick run through here, and this is from The Sun. So here we go. And these are the highlights from the 2020 vice presidential debate between Kamala Harris, and Mike Pence.
They knew what was happening and they didn't tell you. Can you imagine if you knew on January 28th as opposed to March 13th, what they knew, what you might have done to prepare?
Our nation has gone through a very challenging time this year. But I want the American people to know that from the very first day, President Donald Trump has put the health of America first.
Now they're talking about age of the president.
One of you will make history on January 20th. You will be the vice president to the oldest president the United States has ever had. Vice President Pence, have you had a conversation or reached an agreement with President Trump about safeguards or procedures when it comes to the issue of presidential disability? And if not, do you think you should? You have 2 minutes without interruption.
Well, Susan, thank you, although I would like to go back.
I think we need to move on to the issue
but I would like to go back because the reality is that we're going to have a vaccine, Senator, in record time.
So let me tell you, first of all, the day I got the call from Joe Biden, it was actually a Zoom call, asking me to serve with him on this ticket was probably one of the most memorable days of my life.
Now they're saying it's
Public
echoing
reporting
the last debate.
that Russia had bounties on the heads of American soldiers. And Donald Trump had talked at least 6 times to Vladimir Putin and never brought up the subject. Joe Biden would never do that.
So far, slanders against President Donald Trump regarding men and women of our armed forces are absurd. I can assure all of you, with sons and daughters serving in our military, President Donald Trump not only respects but reveres all of those who serve in our armed forces. I would tell you that don't assume that what you're seeing on your local news networks is synonymous with the American people. You know, I look at the relationship between Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the late justice who we just lost from the Supreme Court, and the late Justice Antonin Scalia. They were on polar opposites on the Supreme Court of the United States, one very liberal, one very conservative. But what's been learned since her passing was the two of them and their families were the very closest of friends.
Joe has a long-standing reputation of working across the aisle and working in a bipartisan way. And that's what he's going to do as president. Joe Biden has a history of lifting people up and fighting for their dignity.
All right, so there we go. So we'll start out again with now. I believe Vanessa, you are a conservative. We're trying to get a conservative voice on the show most weeks here as we move up the election, so they can't say we're biased. What are your thoughts? What were your thoughts on the vice presidential debate? Did anything particular stick out with you? And I also want to know who you thought got the better end of that debate.
Sure, absolutely. So,
You want to probably move it back down, but just not right in front of your mouth. Yeah, like right. I would put it like right here. Yeah, right there. There you go.
Okay. So, yeah, so it was actually nice to see, I'm just being very honest, for the most part, a civil debate. You know, I appreciate it when adults act like adults and we're able to get, information, whether or not, unfortunately, whether it's fact or not. It's just a shame that we have to, go, and immediately fact check practically everything both parties say, and I feel like I'm doing this more often than I want to. I wish that, there might be something that comes down across the screen, within the next couple of minutes, like, this is it. It was incorrect. This was exaggerated, etc. As far as how the debate went, I think it was good. There was, again, I walked away with, I would have appreciated a little bit more clarity on both ends. I felt, for me personally speaking, that Kamala Harris was a little bit, in this debate, she was pulling on people's heartstrings. So, for instance, when she would describe certain situations, she would go right to this many people that, the tragic aspects of certain, consequences, if you will. And, yes, those are true, but there is much more to that. than just those numbers or just that information that's being given.
Can you give a couple? Can you give an example though?
Yeah. Sure. So, for instance, they meaning the Democratic Party, particularly in this debate, was Democratic side, was that was it 210,000 people have senselessly lost their lives or lost their life due to COVID-19. Do we really know that number we higher or lower based upon who was in office at the time? We really those are stating that if this person were in office instead, this would not have happened. I think in my opinion that's very careless to say that those numbers would be a little bit different, or guaranteed that those numbers would be less, for example. And I think that both parties have to be careful with saying things like that.
That's kind of one of the results of the election, though, is like if something excellent happens and we discover unicorns, then you get to say that I discovered unicorns during my presidency. Like that's something that you get to wear as a badge of honor. But if something negative happens, you got to own that, and that did happen in this administration, and there is no, well, it was just bad in general, so we don't have to put it on the administration. It's like, well, that's not how this has ever worked in the past. That's just kind of the way it is. Like you rise and fall with what happens in during your time in office.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
Yeah, you can go ahead. And you can respond to him.
Okay, no, I'm just trying to.
Oh no, well, while you're doing that, let me get Tim's opinion on what happened with the debates yesterday.
So I will say that Joe Biden is much better at putting across Donald Trump's message than Donald Trump is. Not Joe Biden. Oh man,
Mike Pence.
Mike Pence.
Yeah,
is a lot better.
There's no question that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mike Pence is a lot better at putting across Donald Trump's message than Donald Trump is, at least on a debate stage, because he is articulate. He used to be a radio host, so he knows how to talk and he knows how to put messages across. The debate for me, there was a lot of them trying to get each other in moments where they're trying to catch each other in lies. There was a lot of, this isn't correct. So there was a lot of Mike Pence trying to correct Kamala Harris on Joe Biden's record. And there was also a lot of Kamala Harris trying to correct Mike Pence on Donald Trump's record. So it seemed like less of a vice presidential debate and more of a hype man debate for the president. Like it just, vice presidential debates aren't very consequential to begin with. This one's a little bit more consequential because, as earlier mentioned, the ages of the president, no matter who gets elected, they're the oldest president in American history. So it's a weird debate as a follow-up to the Trump Biden debate, because it almost seemed boring in comparison to the other debate, but it shouldn't seem boring. It's a debate to see who's going to be vice president of the United States. Like, there's no reason, and I saw it on Twitter. I was following it on Twitter. People were like, "Oh, this debate's boring and nothing's happening." Well, it's a
they want a WWE
debate.
match again, like they had last time.
Yeah, they wanted people shouting at each other, and I think both candidates pulled it off pretty good. I think there was a lot of give and take, and I think Kamala got the better of Mike Pence a little bit more than he got the better of her.
Okay, so Mikey, I want to get your opinion on this before I go.
Okay. So I had to watch it 3 times because
God, you have no life.
I'm a professional, Dutch, and I also have the transcript that I read through as I watched it to make sure I didn't miss anything. So, and then I meant to do it before we started, but I did on my other show, the Ben podcast, if you guys are interested in some hilarious international laughing. I pulled the questions that Miss Page asked everybody, and it was so long-winded in between her questions, and it took me so long to find them because and this is maybe something, I don't want to derail the whole conversation here, but the moderation needs work in a large way, because I've watched flat earther debates on YouTube with better moderation than the VP and presidential debates. It's awful. People are talking all over each other. The audio sounds like crap. No one is actually answering a question. They're just trying to answer the question from 2 questions ago. No, that question is gone. If you're not going to answer this question, I'm cutting your mic. So
you're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
Like, it's so frustrating to have somebody ask, like a moderator ask the same question 48 times. Answer the fucking question so we can go to the next question. Don't try to refix your answer from before. No one is interested in that. Do you guys think that they should change the format? Because I would
absolutely.
I would almost think that they should have a way for the production team, which I'm sure there's a fucking army of nerds back there with 3 keyboards each, making sure that this show runs smoothly. If you're not going to answer, moderator has a button up on his thing. I'm muting you until you're done. Are you done? Cool. Or while one person is giving their answer, their interlocutor is muted. You can't interrupt. It's not coming through. You'll talk, but only you'll be able to hear yourself.
That's precisely something that we'll talk about in a minute when it comes to the next quote unquote next debate between Trump and Biden. Who did you think got the best of it, Mikey? Who did you like?
I liked Kamala in that, because I think she brought up a lot of issues that because while they were both, like I complained about earlier, while they weren't answering the questions, I think she kind of used her not answering the questions to point out some things that I wanted to hear. Like, I'm sick and tired of people who are billionaires paying $750 in taxes. And when they asked about whether or not the president's health would be an important thing to consider moving forward, implying the 25th Amendment. And then she brought up, well, we should also know what their financial history is like and who they owe money to. Because that's huge to me. Like, I don't want to work for somebody who owes the mob $10 million. I should be able to know that information going into it. You know what I mean?
Right. So I don't necessarily disagree with that. So we have 2 votes for Kamala Harris, and then Vanessa. And sorry, who did you say? Did you say that? I don't remember if you picked the winner of the debate or not.
As far as the debate, I think they both had I honestly think they both had strong points. Naturally, Mike Pence, his words resonated with me a lot more. I am a conservative, so naturally I will sway to that side. Though I'm probably one of those perhaps rare ones on the players field where I listen to both sides, and if say Kamala Harris says something that really strikes me, she deserves the floor. So I think they both did a strong job, but personally speaking, Mike Pence's words resonated with me.
Okay, so we have 2 votes for Kamala and a vote for Mike Pence, and so that means that Kamala Harris is going to win, because no, I'm not picking Kamala Harris. Okay, I was steaming during this debate. I am not a Republican.
He loves flies.
I'm used to be.
Okay.
Excuse me. And as everyone listening to this show knows, you two might not, I detest Trump and everything attached to him in every way, especially as a person who considers himself a Christian. Mike Pence did not necessarily perform well in this debate, but Kamala Harris sucked. And I'm going to tell you why she sucked. Okay. Now, okay. And you know what, maybe sucked is a little bit too strong of a term, but she did not do well. Okay. She didn't do what she needed to do, and she didn't come off the way that she needed to come off in what should have been layup questions against this guy. Now, yes, Mike Pence is not Donald Trump, but truth of the matter is he's way further right way freaking further right than Donald Trump is. Donald Trump pretends to be all the way to the right because he likes to gloat and he likes to get people to cheer stuff, and he'll say things that are way further right than Mike Pence would ever think about saying. But ideologically speaking, Mike Pence is way freaking right of Donald Trump. Okay, truth matters. Pence said that multiple times. Every time he said it, Kamala Harris sat there with that smile on her face and shook her head. So people will call me and they'll say, "Oh, Dutch, how, of course, you're going to hold the woman to a higher critique." No, I'm holding the person who I want to be the vice president of the United States, even though I was against her pick from the beginning. I wanted Val Demings. Okay, I was very outspoken about the fact that I wanted Val Deming as the vice president.
You thought she was hot.
Val Deming isn't even good looking, but yes, I mean, she's not an ugly woman, but Kamala Harris is far better looking than Val Deming. Let's be honest. Okay. But the point of the matter is that I know she would have destroyed Pence in the debate forum, especially seeing as the fact that she is a former police chief and could have held out an olive branch to, all of this diversion from, with police forces from the left, right? And maybe showed them, hey, maybe we can get 2 or 3 of those votes back. Because I know that Donald Trump is detrimental to this country. But Kamala Harris was totally unprepared for this debate. Okay. Fracking. Mike Pence kept bringing it back to fracking over and over and over again. She never had an answer for that as far as to what the actual answer should be. All she said was, no, we're not going to end fracking. No, we're not going to end fracking. Now, truth of the matter is, Biden has said both things. He said he will, and then he said he won't. Most recently, he said he won't end fracking. Why? Because the freaking corporate Democrats, who are super freaking conservative, have all of their money in oil. Okay, so he was told by them, the right will tell you that he's controlled by the radical left. Wrong. He's controlled by the corporations, just like the freaking conservatives are. Okay, so what you should say about fracking and about fossil fuels, et cetera, is, yeah, we want to end fracking someday. Probably not for about 30 years, but we have to start looking at ways to get away from fracking eventually, because it's not going to be something that we're going to be doing down the road. Okay. And say, hey, we don't like fracking. We don't think it's something that we should be doing going forward, but it is something that is a real thing. And Big House is on the show now. All right. We've got our third host here on the show. Welcome to the show, Big Hussein. You're right in the middle of my Kamala Harris rant. Okay. Where I am talking
answering questions
about how I did not like her debate performance. So the, not only did she not get into fracking, they brought up the Green New Deal. Okay. She was one of the first co-sponsors of the Green New Deal. Then she said, we don't support the Green New Deal. Okay, that's true. They don't support all aspects of the Green New Deal. But what you do is you say, look, the Green New Deal is not a piece of legislation. Mitch McConnell tried to make it a piece of legislation. It was not a piece of legislation. It was an idea for something, again, down the fucking road. Okay, but 10, 20, 30 years.
But I think you're answering a question that wasn't asked.
They didn't ask half the questions that Mike Pence answered weren't even asked in the first place. He just decided to talk about it. Why does Kamala Harris stick to the script? That's why they lose.
That's whataboutism. But we're not talking about that. When they ask her,
that's why Kamala Harris lost.
I don't think she lost, because when they ask her, does Joe Biden support the Green New Deal? And she says, no, Joe Biden has his own plan. You say that's not answering the question, and I'm confused.
Because when you go out and you say that you are one of the original sponsors of the Green New Deal, and then they read and they said something that is true, that if you look at the website for joebiden.com, Joe Biden 2020, that a lot of the same ideas are there. What you do is you explain, yes, there are concepts within the Green New Deal itself that are absolutely. She did not say that. She skipped around it and tiptoed around the subject and was afraid of saying I'm a supporter of the Green New Deal because she didn't want to piss off moderates like me. But guess what? Moderates like me know what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to things like the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal, as written, was not legislation and not something that I would support. But the concepts, some of the concepts within it, again, I've used this as a dumb analogy, okay? But some of the, like, I've used it before. If you look forward to Star Trek, right? Like when we get to Star Trek, when we are there, when humanity progresses to there, you think we're gonna be fucking fracking? Okay, of course we're not gonna be fracking. You have to start. Well, I'll be fracking with Will Riker on Romulus or something like that. But the point is you're progressing towards things, right? Of course we don't want to have all of the, you don't need to be in fossil fuels in 20, 30, 40 years. It's finite. God damn it. Of course we need to get away from fossil fuels. It's stupid to think that we're going to be in fossil fuels in 20, 30, 40 years. People just want to stay with it because they don't want to lose their jobs. And guess what? If they're smart, the oil companies will invest in new technologies and be better. So yes, you want to implement some of these ideas and defend that and tell them stop being so fucking hypocritical and stop thinking that we need to go back to 1920s and smoke beautiful, clean coal, because it's not beautiful. It's not fucking clean. All right. So again, I'm sorry for ranting here. She goes into her story. Great. I'm glad about your story. You didn't answer the question. Do people want, you could be the president in like 2 years if Joe Biden dies? Same for Mike Pence. They're the same fucking age. Okay, there's like 4 years difference. Black Panther just died at 43. Van Halen died at 65. Okay, they could die tomorrow. We don't freaking know. Of course, it's a legitimate question. Of course, neither one of them were going to answer it. Of course, Donald Trump never talked with Mike Pence about that. But I guarantee, because he would never have that conversation, and Pence doesn't have the balls to bring it up. But Kamala Harris, I guarantee you they had that conversation. They just don't want to talk about it because they knew the other side wouldn't talk about it.
It's a bit macabre to talk about.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's an appropriate debate question anyway. Like, I get that they wanted to ask it, but
I totally agree. I totally agree with that. And the last one is about the Supreme Court. They didn't give Merrick Garland a hearing. Yes, they didn't give him a hearing. That's the hypocrisy. And she sat there. She didn't even say a word. I don't even think she said Merrick Garland's name.
No.
All they said is, are you going to pack the courts with radical leftists? The hypocrisy from Mike Pence on that statement. Are you going to pack the court with radicals? What the fuck do you think you're doing right now? You're packing with radical conservatives because you're afraid of radical left? Of course, because nobody puts a freaking normal nominee on there. Everybody wants to go, oh, I'm going to go get the furthest right person I can, Amy Coney Barrett, who's further right than goddamn Mike Pence is. You know?
Amy,
and then you're going to...
Barcelona. You guys saw
it's
Saturday Night Live.
No, I didn't see that, but I am looking forward to the... I am looking forward to the VP on Saturday Night Live tomorrow because what's her face... who plays Kamala Harris?
Good.
The girl from
Maya Rudolph.
Maya Rudolph, right?
Maya Rudolph.
She does such a good. And I mean, Alec Baldwin as Trump is fantastic. But no, she didn't do good. Okay, she didn't attack him. She had one real "fuck you" line. And guys, if you didn't realize it, where we do swear here, where she said Joe Biden brought back the automobile industry and you voted against it. Okay,
she couldn't attack him.
So
that's the thing, and you know why?
Because welcome to the show, Big Hussein. Thank you for being late. It's your turn to go. Okay, go, Big Hussein.
Even as defiant and strong as she was, they still pulled out the angry black woman trope today.
Yep.
So she could not go at him as hard as she wanted to.
That's exactly the same thing that happened to Obama his whole presidency. His whole presidency, he was trying to be timid the whole time, and he ended up looking weak. Everybody, and they knew they were going to call him a socialist and pandering to black causes. Everybody knew that was going to happen. So he went out of his way to not do it, and they still said he did it.
You know what's funny about that? About the whole, they knew he was going to pander to black causes and stuff, is that a lot of black Republicans or black independents or black two wings on the same bird people, all they talk about is he didn't do anything for black people. And on the right, it's all he did was try to do stuff for black people. And it's like, he tried to do stuff for everybody. There were certain things, if you dig deep, if you dig and look, there were certain things that he did that helped black people, but they helped everybody. Like police reform helps everybody. You know, things like that help everybody. Black people are disproportionately represented.
ACA, it goes in that right. Too. Yeah.
Well, there's a whole lot of poor white folks that don't have insurance that got insurance now too.
Yeah, and
You know?
they glossed over insurance, which is like
Yeah.
something that I think that she should have spent a lot more time on, because of all the things that are on the left side of the political spectrum, and of the things that I support from the left, healthcare, universal insurance, not where your doctor is working for the government, but where you have one insurance company, it's public option. That is the one thing that I don't think will work. I know will work. I've talked to economic experts who've done the math. This is a no-brainer. You have United Healthcare made $37 billion in profit in 2018, the last year they had a report on it or something like that. Take that $37 billion of profit out. Guess what? Costs less.
Mm-hmm.
Can't make it. You can't make that up. And add to that the money that Blue Cross Blue Shield and Aetna and all these other companies make. Just so I've had my rant. Big Haas, I'm gonna get your deeper thoughts on the debate in a moment. I've been letting Vanessa go first. Just your thoughts on my thoughts, Tim, and then Vanessa, as the conservative here, will let you tell us all that we all suck in a second. Okay.
So I think you're absolutely right. And I think that Haas is right too, that they sort of like pulled back the reins on Kamala Harris and said that, hey, you can't go out there and kill this guy, because she's a prosecutor. That was her job for the longest time. She was the DA of California. So if she wanted to go after him, she could have.
And extremely conservative DA of California, by the by. Yeah.
But still, she has the chops to go after somebody like that.
It could have been a Kavanaugh situation.
If she would have gone after him like she did Kavanaugh, or like she did Biden, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. No, you see her in the Democratic primary debates go after everyone. Mm-hmm. She went after Biden, she went after Elizabeth Warren, she went after everyone, Bernie Sanders, you name it. She tore into them. This Kamala Harris seemed timid. Because
you know why? Because they said, because they told her, they said, Kamala, don't do that again, or you're not going to be vice president. And now she's vice.
Yeah, she was clearly
DNC.
given.
And also, you have to think about
script.
this. You have to think that in the Democratic primaries and the Democratic debates, she could do that, and she wasn't excoriated for being a quote unquote angry black woman.
Yeah.
But she was not even half that in this VP debate, and she was. The narrative is on the right and in the media that she's an angry black, abrasive and combative, which is angry black woman.
Though I will say, and Tim, I'll definitely finish your thought, but I will say CNN disagrees with me. And their polls disagree with me, because apparently Trump's approval rating stayed stagnant after the debate. And apparently this nonpartisan group that they had, who undecided voters, I say that tongue in cheek, but their poll numbers for Biden actually went up after the debate. He's now leading by as many as 17 points in one poll. So,
yeah,
obviously the only thing that matters is Pennsylvania and Florida. But Tim, go ahead and finish, and then Vanessa, jump in whenever you want.
So, well, just to finish my thought, you're right. Kamala Harris had some real questions she could have knocked out of the park. And she could have knocked some stuff that Penn said out of the park too, but she had to stick to whatever script she was given, and the moderating was not great. And debates nowadays, I don't know. I've been in like small town debates that were better than this vice presidential debate, and I don't know what the debate commission is up to, but they need to fix it, because you're not getting any information. They're not answering questions. Nobody answered a question. Except the question from 2 questions ago.
Right. It should be brought to a screeching halt until the fucking question is answered. We're not moving forward until you answer it. All right. You don't want to answer? Next question. If you talk about the last question, we're cutting your mic, and then we're going to the other person can answer.
They should be held. They should be held accountable for their answers.
To steal a line from the moderator yesterday. That's a perfect segue, but we're not at the segue yet, because that is the next topic. Vanessa, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I wish there was some sort of a platform or program that they could, have like live fact checkers right there. They do the debates in quarters, stop them, then have somebody come on, you said this, person A, however, may I, we are according, and then they don't, not according to CNN, the New York Times, Fox News, don't care about them anymore. According to what happened, just done, the facts. I don't care according to this person, that person, just get to the facts, done fast. And, and then then your reaction, your rebuttal, done. It should be I mean, I remember we did, debates in high school that were more civil. And that's what scares me, is just how juvenile a lot of all these little tit for tat is coming out. And as someone who is a conservative, who, to be honest, even in my own community, feels like I have to hide in my basement, but hide. I'm terrified of telling people, what my viewpoints are. God forbid I don't agree with some of these, but God forbid, my business could be ripped apart, for instance. I have, I don't want to, go on to it too much, but it's quite scary. And honestly, that's what scares me more, is just, not having a safe platform, even just making a comment or a rebuttal. We should
You're
be
safe
able
here
to be
because
civil.
no one's listening. No.
Oh no, no, well,
it's got to be brutal though, living in New York.
It's brutal. It's beyond brutal. But now I'm in California, where I will be honest, I was driving through. There are Trump signs around.
California's not as crazy socialist as people say that it is by any stretch.
It's not, absolutely not, especially where I am. I'm near like Redlands and like San Bernardino area.
You're in Trump country.
Yeah, I'm in Trump country. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm in Bakersfield. That's Trump country too.
Yeah.
And like I'm probably like, I don't know where exactly that you're at as the crow flies, but we're probably like an hour and 10 minutes apart.
I think you're
So there's a big mountain in the way that you got to drive around, so it probably takes 2 hours. But one thing, in New York, you have a different kind of liberal than you have in LA. New York liberal is a lot more brazen than the LA liberal is.
They're nasty, mean. Know what? Yeah.
And I mean, they only get together over the Yankees, right? But
go ahead,
you guys have two newspapers out there, right? You go down to your newsstand, and the New York Times says Trump devil, and the New York Post says Trump God. So I can't even imagine how crazy that is.
It's a shame. I mean, I really feel like if God for if I were to put like like our congressman is Lee Zeldin for Suffolk County, if I were to put a sign that I support, I mean, like I would probably get hate mail. I'm not even kidding. Like there was someone I know who does limo private car service out where I live. And all the passenger said to him, this is according to the driver, said this morning to me, when he was driving me to the airport, said his passenger asked him, "Oh, what do you think of Trump?" And he acted neutral about it. The guy flipped out, asked to pull, and just wanted to end the ride right there, called his boss and reprimanded him, saying, "How dare your driver express that he like our president?" And it was just little things like that are so absurd. And unfortunately, that is a normal occurrence out there.
So just to put things into perspective, like I wish that was the opposite. I wish that was the other side of the coin for people who might consider themselves as Democrat or liberal going into Trump country, because it's not the same reaction. Like it's active threats of violence. It's actually nasty. Nasty gets nasty when you get into Trump country. And without the complexion for the
can you give me an example?
I mean,
I'll give you an example in our close.
I know somebody whose house was vandalized just recently.
Yeah, go ahead, Big House. Tell us what happened.
So, for the longest time, I've had lawn signs. One of them is for my fraternity, and one of them is just a sign that says, "In this house, we believe Black Lives Matter. No immigrant is illegal," things like that. Love is love, etc., etc. I've had that for the longest time. But recently, about a week and a half ago, I bought a big old Black Lives Matter flag, and I hung it up outside my door. And maybe 3 days after that flag was hung, my house got egged and my daughter's car got egged. And it was obvious from the placement of the eggs that they were trying to hit the flag, you know? And it's like, I pass Trump signs all the time. I pass Confederate flags all the time. I never tried to egg a home. I've never tried to rip a flag off a car or anything like that. But as soon as that flag went up, I've lived there for a year and a half. I lived here for a year and a half, and you know, it's stuff like that. And when,
with a white wife.
yes,
Yeah.
she is Caucasian.
you sell out. I mean, I drive up and down my street, right? And just to give you some perspective, because I live in Bakersfield, right? So this is Trump USA. And I drive up and down my street, and I can't tell you that when I see a Trump flag, I don't have a desire to go rip it down and take a shit on it, right? Of course I want to do that, right? I the thought has gone through my head, but I also believe in freedom of expression. I'm a big supporter of the First Amendment. So, I'll tell you what I do, Vanessa, me personally, is we have right at the corner, and it's funny because like at the Walmart or at the Target, there's always almost 100% of the time when you go to Walmart or Target in an election year. So like 2019, this didn't happen, but 2018 it did, 2020 it does. You'll have two things that are set up there. One is the pop-up trailer with Trump t-shirts and flags. And the other is someone trying to get Gavin Newsom recalled as governor, right? So, and it's nonstop. And I always tell them the same thing. I'm like, I just walked up to them. They'll say, do you want to recall Gavin Newsom? And I'll say, it's funny that you ask, because I was curious. What were your thoughts on the impeachment trial? And to a T, they say they just wanted to overturn the 2016 election. It was a sham. And then I point down at their sign that says recall Gavin Newsom. And I say, that's precisely what you are doing. Why are you a hypocrite? Well, because he's a socialist. So it's because he doesn't agree with you. So if someone agrees with you, then they're okay. And anybody who does anything against them is bad. But this is not to exonerate liberals. The way that Trump was treated by liberals when he got COVID on Twitter by a lot of people was equally as appalling as the Republicans who were cheering the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg a week before.
Well, that was disgusting. Yeah,
and
no
like
doubt.
there and like our friend Jeff Dornick, who's been on this show, is compiling something about all of the comments about Trump, which I put on my Facebook page and on the Voice from the Underground Facebook page. Do not involve us in those, okay? Because I want him out of. I want to bury him on November 3rd. Alive.
Murder him on the 2nd and bury him on the 3rd. That's disgusting, Dutch.
Yes.
You can't say
Right,
those
and
things on the
so,
airwaves.
I mean, I literally had someone tell me that because I played a stupid game, right, called WSOP Poker, which by the way is a ripoff. I deleted it, but my screen name was Beat Trump, right? I had people telling or Defeat Trump. People telling me that I was insensitive because he was sick. And it's like the day after Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, people were saying, I'm glad the baby killer's dead. Right? Let's appoint a conservative to the court today. Mitch McConnell came out and said, we're going to hear a Supreme Court nominee an hour and 14 minutes after the announcement of her death. Can you imagine how upset he is that Van Halen has not yet started a search to replace Eddie Van Halen? It's been 2 whole days. Where is the new Eddie Van Halen?
Well, I just wish the right wouldn't be such snowflakes about things because facts.
Well, both sides are bad. Right, both sides are bad, but it happens both ways.
But there's a difference between an old lady passing and someone getting a disease that they actively told people not to worry about. Like, these are not the same thing. So I'm not gonna participate in the false dichotomy because that's exactly what it is. She's an old lady who died, who suffered from cancer for she killed 38 different kinds of cancer in her body, and then the last one got her. She's a beast, absolute beast. He got sick. He isn't dead. He has the best medical staff on the planet. I'm not boo-hooing over this man getting sick. Oh, look at this. Look being brought all of her things that she needs.
Yeah, you're just being catered to over there. It's got to be nice
to.
I don't know. This is an audio podcast, but what we're looking at here is Vanessa being served drinks and.
They have a palm frond. They're fanning.
You're on mute. You're on mute still, but it looked like they were bringing you up.
This is literally a sign. Just my cousin telling me she's getting tired. That's literally all. That's literally all it is. Getting sleepy.
It looks like
it.
Are you done yet? I'm tired.
It looks like the paper Trump was signing in the hospital. He was writing. No. So Tim, you've been quiet for a minute. Your thoughts on anything?
As a like semi-professional political operative,
you're in the deep state.
Yes. The town I used to live in, Shelton, Connecticut, is very Republican. The mayor's been the mayor since like 1991, and I ran as an independent candidate against him and the Democrat. And it was not a fun campaign. I got it.
Let me just say, first of all, good for you.
Yeah,
go
thanks. ahead. I was self-funding the campaign. I didn't have any resources really. I was a write-in candidate actually, so people had to remember my name to put it on the ballot, and I got roughly 1% of the vote.
Hey.
But yeah, and
cool.
It's better than no percent.
Right.
Exactly.
10 votes.
Of course. I got it from both sides. I got it from the Democrats and the Republicans, because the Democrats didn't want me to spoil whatever chance they had, and they didn't have any chance. And the Republicans were just pissed because there was another person running against the mayor. And then 2 years later, when I ran for alderman as a Democrat, just so I'd have party backing for something, it was rough. I got yelled at. I did a lot of door knocking, basically. And even Democrats were like, "Why are you doing this?" And it was somewhat demoralizing to get yelled at by Republicans who I did pass, and this does happen in Connecticut a lot. I did pass some Confederate flag signs that were on my list to door knock. I was like, I'm not even going to try that.
Yeah.
I'm not even going there.
That's the door that I can't wait to knock on. Honestly, I love going up to those pop-up tents and just saying, what's with the fanboyness? You know what I mean? Like they have this new flag now, by the way, that is a complete violation. I can't wait to the next. I'm not going to say anything to my neighbor 5 houses down that's flying it. I should, but they have this new flag now where it's an American flag. It's got Trump's picture over the flag, going like this or something, and it says "Make America Great Again." It's an astonishing violation of the flag code.
Yeah.
Right, astonishing, and
from a patriot.
Yeah, from a patriot, and but like I can't wait to talk to the next person who I see selling it, because I know the pop-up tent, like, it's always there. And I always go up to these guys and I talk to them. They got Confederate flags. They got right next to the Blue Lives Matter flag, or the Blue Line flag. I'm sorry. And it's like, those are the people I love having conversations with.
Yeah,
and sometimes they're fucking crazy people. And sometimes they're not.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind going to like last time I ran for town council in Stratford last year. I don't mind going to people's houses that have my opponent's yard sign. I don't mind it. If they're on my list, I knock on the door. I'll get told to fuck off, but I don't mind knocking on the door. But there are certain houses that I won't go near. Confederate flags, no way. No way, because I've been to houses where they let the dogs out on me. And I keep doggy treats in my little campaign bag just in case. So
wow.
I throw the treats and run.
Yo, my man is smart. He threw like 15 Vienna sausages the other way and fucking darted out of it.
Real man of genius.
Here's to you,
Mr. Doggy Treat Carrier.
But
dogs won't get your calf.
Roof, they're running.
Ooh, you got my Achilles.
Where's Michael Vick when you need him?
I've knocked on doors where all they did was just open the door and let the dog
man.
out.
Oh my God.
Oh, get away from me with that. I can make fun of anybody.
but that's I mean, that's what happens. That's the risk you take when you knock on people's doors, I guess. But yeah, that's happened to me absolutely. And there are certain places where if I
Well, here,
see
do this for me. So you have a conservative here.
Okay.
You're knocking on Vanessa's door.
Ooh,
Vanessa will come off mute. Role play for it. Vanessa
right.
says hello. What's your pitch? She's
Pause.
voting for,
Tim, you got to say, I got this pizza here.
Stop it. Not that kind of show.
Did you call Papa John's?
Stop it. You
All right, so
stop it.
ding dong.
All right. So, hi, my name is Tim. I'm running for town council, and I hope for your vote in the next election. Do you have any questions that you'd like me to answer about my platform?
Hi, Tim. Yes, I'd love to just give me a quick summary of your platform. Just want to let you know, though, in advance, I am a registered Republican and a conservative, but I would love to, present the floor to you. Welcome. Please share.
All right. Thanks. Well, I mean, I welcome all kinds. I don't discriminate by political party. So let's see. What was my platform when I ran for town council? I want to lower taxes.
Just pretend you're running for Congress now.
Oh, I'm running for Congress. Okay.
Yeah, let's just pretend.
Okay, I'm going to run for Congress. So, universal health care, that's one thing. Let's see.
So how would that, so your universal health care, so how would that affect, so my husband's a physician.
Okay.
He makes a good salary. It's not cheap to live where we live. How would universal health care affect his salary?
How would universal health care affect his salary? Well, I'm pretty sure that the plan for universal health care would have Medicaid paying the bills instead of the individual. So I don't think it would affect your husband's salary that much, since he gets a lot of money from Medicaid anyway.
Does he?
I believe. What kind of physician is he?
He's a family medicine.
Family medicine.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I would assume that his practice gets a lot of money from Medicaid and Medicare.
Not as much as they care to, as they hope.
I know that dealing with Medicare and Medicaid is troublesome. I've dealt with them actually personally, but I think I just want to improve the lives of all citizens. So getting everyone healthcare is definitely a priority of mine, and not charging them an arm and a leg is also good for everyone.
I understand. How would you go about doing that so it would not help people but not affect people's standpoint? So for instance, we would not want to see naturally his salary go down unnecessarily. That makes sense.
Right. I would work in reasonable compensation for all doctors and practitioners, because they would be there would be definitely a small drop in. You can never say that I'm going to pay you less money, but there would definitely have to be adjustments made, because the insurance companies would theoretically no longer exist.
Would that mean, when you say universal health care for all, do you also mean undocumented immigrants?
So if someone pays taxes, they should be allowed to have health care.
Okay.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys role playing that for us.
Fun. I want to do that.
Yeah, that was first of all, just Vanessa's demeanor is fucking terrifying. Okay.
Yes.
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I'm
She's
leaving.
got her hair up in a bun, her arms across, the whole room is
I just
no belt.
I let people I let people know right away that what my position, but I mean, I've had many people come to my door. Actually, we live on a main road.
I've never had anyone.
We have
only Mormons.
Jehovah's Witness, and I let them talk. I say, hi, how are you? And some people literally will slam that. I never do that. I do give them the floor. I mean, shit, if they're going to give me I have 2 cats. I have one maniac cat that will literally just dart out of the house to she's trying to catch the bunny forever. But anyway, yeah, I give them the floor.
I shouldn't have said healthcare at all.
Can I tell a small story?
No. No, you can't.
So at my last apartment, when I was still single, it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I had been up all night on the internet doing internet things. My doorbell rings. I'm like, oh, what the hell?
Know what that means?
Throw on some basketball shorts. I got no shirt on, and two like, I don't know, an early 20 like little Jehovah's Witness girls come up or Mormon girls come up, and they just want to talk with it. And I'm just standing there glistening. My fro is in full effect, and they're just like, we wanted to.
We didn't know you were black.
We just wanted to and I was just like, yeah, I'm not interested, sweetie. And I just kind of slowly closed the door. And I was just like the look on their face was just like,
Yeah.
This is what
It's
you're
technically
missing,
not
Vince.
fair to give them the floor. Also, too, I want to note too that if you're really genuinely not interested, it's also fair to let them know right
Yeah.
away too, not to let them keep, But usually, like when Jehovah's Witnesses come over, they just say, "Hello, my name is so and so. We're having a little gathering on this day, this time." I say, "Thank you." Take the pamphlet and,
Oh, they
Thank you.
start sending stuff in the mail now. I got a handwritten letter last week.
Wow.
Yeah, and Halloween.
Are you prepared for Jehovah's return?
Halloween's coming up, so the tract givers will be out in full effect again this year. My family was very conservative, and my mom gave a Snickers bar with a track in it. So, though I will say just real quick, when it comes
track?
to
What does that mean?
a Bible tract that would say,
I've got
the story of salvation on with usually with John 3:16 or something of that nature on the back. Though I will tell you that I would love one day when we have time to have the UCH conversation with Vanessa and her husband both, because I can tell you with a high degree of certainty that
Universal Care Health.
you're did I say Universal Care Health? Is that what I said?
UCH, and I'm like, what the hell is UCH?
Oh,
that new boy band.
Yeah, that's I'm going to be frontlining that group. Okay.
Vietnam.
Yeah, they call me JD. I'm the one who goes, "Oh girl." That's all I do.
That's
I go,
it.
"Oh
That's it.
girl."
In every song, everybody just waits for the "oh girl."
Yeah, and ooh yeah.
What was that? No. Oh girl. Yeah. It is an intriguing conversation, because you can never guarantee that there wouldn't be any change in pay. That change in pay might go up, and that change in pay might go down. But the difference is that it's a negotiated rate with the insurance company, same as it is right now. It's just you're only negotiating with one insurance company, which the theory there is that it would actually give more leverage to the insurance company, because it's the only game in town. But that's I have read a lot of research that shows that may not be the case, but that's a way longer discussion than we have time to get into right now.
Can I ask one question that hopefully doesn't take a long time?
Oh boy. Sure can.
Pause. So
Crack-a-lackin'.
I have one issue, and Vanessa, I really like you, but I find one thing that you said supremely problematic, and that is will my husband's pay go down?
And why is that?
If someone's a physician to help people, and the first thing when it says we can help, everyone can get help, it's like, yeah, but do I get the same amount of pay? Because if not, fuck that. Like,
I think it's okay. I think it's okay though for her to say that. I would say it's not okay for him to say it. My opinion on that would be she could say it because it's her husband and she's looking out for him. I don't think it would be okay for him to say it as a physician, but that would be my opinion on that. So that's just my curious. There she go. Oh, see, I told you she's terrifying.
I should have never said.
So can we say the same thing to a teacher, police officer, firefighter, skilled or unskilled laborer? Can we say what? So
we do say that to those people, though.
A physician is exempt from the fact that, oh no, you're a physician, you probably make tons of money a year. No, you could decrease in pay because, oh no, we just have hundreds of $1,000. We may. Let's say we do. We may have hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical bills, we have to carry insurance.
Right.
He has to carry insurance for his patients. What about say if we have rent or we own the building? My goodness, the fees are enormous, extensive. I can't tell you. And also, you know, it's not a cheap area where we live. Not saying that, we do have a choice to live there, but at the same time, is that really? I don't like to use the word fair, but is that just to?
Well, when you bring up
that.
the school teachers and
when
police,
when he's seeing 25 patients a day right now, when on average he should be seeing no more than 15. He actually right now is technically going through burnout. Kind of like what
I can
he was
imagine.
going through in the pandemic, and they love to say, oh, the physician must be doing really, really well. He worked his tail off, 12 14-hour shifts. It was outrage. It was just outrageous. I mean, even now, I think his pay should really be bumped up. I mean, what his superiors make are in the 7 figures, and it's just absurd.
Does he own his own practice, or does he work at a hospital?
He is part of Northwell Health, so he's under that umbrella. But he has 2 practices. He has one in I'll just say his Dr. Chris Gordon. You could pretty much Google, he'll come right up. He's in Wading River.
Social justice warriors.
He has a practice in well.
Well, the one thing that I will say here is that and you made a really great rebuttal there when you said brought up doctors and police. The problem though is that we do that to them because they are government employees. So they are actually subject to what we feel like we want to pay them. I wouldn't even answer this question this way because it would not be the right way to answer the question, but a knee-jerk reaction would be to say what makes one profession better than the next.
Right.
But that actually would kind of be invalid because you have different pays where the guy at Taco Bell makes one thing and the guy at a different place makes another thing. But the issue with the doctors is that there is no evidence to show that their pay would go down. There's not evidence to show that it would go up either. Those things there's really good arguments on both sides of that particular piece of this debate, but he's still going to be negotiating his rate with the insurance company. He just won't have more insurance companies to do that with. So right now he may work for, say, Aetna and MetLife. In the future he won't have to worry about red tape from all of those companies. And in addition to that, the Bernie Sanders plan for Medicaid for all, which by the way is terribly named, because Medicare is not the greatest program, so they probably should come up with a better name. Democrat messaging, right?
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah, it's like, let's call it VA. Why stop at Medicaid? But the issue would be that you'd have there's contingencies in there for malpractice insurance, where I have seen plans where you would not even need to carry malpractice insurance in any regard anyway, because that would be part of the plan itself. So, doctors will remain under this particular version. There are other versions, but under this particular version, they would stay private. They would not be employees of the federal government. And I do not support doctors having to be employees of the federal government.
That's what I was going to say anyway. And I think that doctors, nurses, anybody who provides these general goodlinesses towards the society should be compensated and have the backing of the federal government to make sure that they get what they are actually deserved to be paid. Because if Joe Biden and everybody else can get paid all this money guaranteed, healthcare, they have everything taken care of for them. Like the House reps have everything taken care of for them, but doctors do not. And doctors are the ones working all these crazy hours, putting themselves in harm's way and all that.
Yeah, nurses also.
Yeah, they deserve more compensation. That's not my problem. So my problem was, like, my husband deserves more money if this is going to be the case. No, I think the problem is that the system is currently set up in a way that your husband is not valued for the piece of society that he is. He needs to be worth 10 cops, if that makes sense. If we're gonna like as far as like community or state workers comes into play
on a
Like,
hierarchy.
yeah, like he needs to be that important. If you go through medical school and you are a physician and you heal the sick, you need that place in our society because we need you to be um fat, dumb, and healthy. Like we just need you. We need you good. We need you to be in your best.
Not dumb.
No, please, not dumb.
Not dumb.
So I actually I did a study on this, and this is just the VA. This is just the Veterans Administration for Health. But one of the major problems with medical care is that there aren't enough doctors. And I heard you say that your husband was doing 25 patients when he should only be seeing 15 or 10.
That is definitely
And-
correct. There aren't enough doctors. You are absolutely right.
And the issue that the VA found is that there isn't enough government funding for doctors to go to medical school. And they've been cutting funding for that, grants and whatnot, scholarships.
Standard.
Yep. And in the next 15, 20 years, they'll have a third fewer doctors and more patients. And because doctors are retiring, they're not replacing the doctors that are retiring.
That's what happened. That's what happened. His partner, the other physician that was working at the same retired, and
yeah,
they didn't fire. And I said, what are they going to? I think they're going to bump up your. I keep asking him almost. I shouldn't even say this, but it's like, come on, what's going on? What's going on? I ask him almost every week. What is going on? Are they going to renegotiate your contract?
Since he's doing the one-man show now.
He's doing he is beyond exhausted. He just punks out when he gets
they
home.
won't do that as long as they feel like they can get him to do that work at the pay he's at.
And I don't want to sound out of pocket or make you seem like a bad person, but it's when it comes across like, well, is my husband going to get paid more? Your husband, from what it sounds like, already deserves well more than what he's being compensated for now. But I'm saying, like, in general, the doctors should be taken care of so that they don't even have to worry about anything except for taking care of other people.
Right, and not have to worry about all the.
I agree with you there. Yeah.
And they would also.
In Antifa, Dutch, put it on the scoreboard. Got another.
Well,
and Tim, I think if you, yeah, for sure, Tim, I think if you probably came across this in your research, if you looked into some of the proposals for universal insurance,
that I defended poorly, by the way.
Well, but she, like I said, she was terrifying. I'm losing my. Now I lost my train of thought. So the idea is this: if we were under a government program where the pay was regulated by the government, which is not something that I support, by the way.
Right.
But you had a shortage of doctors and a good solid qualification standard to become one with the appropriate tests and the appropriate measures to make sure that we're putting qualified people into place and not just people who happen to have had a rich dad who was a doctor so they get to be a doctor too. Then you're going to put that pay at, let's say, I'm just throwing a number. Let's say that they pay a sixth-year physician $430,000 a year salary. I don't know if that's more or less than what your husband makes right now. I have no idea, but it's highly unlikely that you're going to have a shortage of doctors when you have a job available that, they're not going to say, well, I'm not going to be a doctor because I want to make, so I'm going to make $40,000 a year and go work at Target instead. That's just, that argument to me just doesn't make a lot of sense because like the Ben Shapiro argument is we'll lose all of our doctors. I don't think they're going to go apply at the post office. I think you're still going to be a doctor. You're just going to regulate the amount of time that you put into that because you're going to have a certain pay that you make. Have you seen any of that, Tim?
So the issue is that there's not a shortage of people willing to be a doctor. There's a shortage of people who are willing to go through the 8 years of training, plus the residencies, plus everything else that it takes to be a doctor and get. It takes time. Even if we started right now and put out free scholarships to everyone who wanted to be a doctor, there wouldn't be enough people to serve the medical needs of the country in the next 15 years. And you saw it kind of with the COVID outbreak. They were taking medical students right out of medical school and putting them in hospitals saying, well, you got to go deal with this now. There weren't enough doctors. There weren't enough doctors. There weren't enough nurses. There weren't enough staff. And that is going to continue to diminish because there aren't enough resources out there to train people in time.
So Vanessa, doesn't that like speak towards the weaknesses and the flaws in the system that we currently have? Is that when a pandemic hits and we need all hands on deck, we're not even ready for that because of the system that we currently have in place.
This came on, just speaking of the pandemic, it came on so rapidly, and it's a disease technically that we knew nothing about. However, I will criticize just really the world, but our system, and particularly in general. When we found out what was going on in Wuhan, China, that shouldn't have just not been something we splashed across the TV. That should have been taken extraordinarily seriously to the utmost. And something should have been done right then and there. I honestly can't believe these people actually trickled in to the United States. Just, me personally speaking, I thought that was so irresponsible.
Has your husband said anything? Because I have heard some pretty convincing arguments that COVID may have been in the U.S. as early as November. Have you heard any of that?
Yes, I have. I've even spoken to people in Europe, particularly in Amsterdam, who they believe that they had it in October of 2019. Same symptoms. They felt like they were dying. The hard, difficulty breathing, loss of taste and smell. Little pockets there. I was in Kenya in February of this year, and I'll never forget, they're like, I was at a giraffe center and they're like, oh, don't touch that giraffe. We just had a flight come in from China and they just had 40 people here touring the facility. And I'm going, why did you even allow that plane in? I just came out and said it. And the people were shocked. They're like, oh, well, we need the tourism. We need these people. And I said, oh, you do really need those people? And then someone said, oh, they spend money. They have
All
money.
money ain't good money though.
I know. I said that. I said,
so what was the problem with this group of people?
They were from China during the pandemic.
It was a group of 40 people.
During the pandemic. Oh, okay.
During the very beginning, when Italy, Iran, and there was one other country that was already heavily affected. So when we came back to the United States, they actually asked us, were you in China, Italy, Iran? There was another country they mentioned. I don't recall which one, but I think it may have been Spain already.
Yeah,
it may have been
Spain or France.
And I said no, but I actually did mention to the board, secure that we were in, I mentioned they're like, oh, don't worry about that. Stamp done.
Don't worry about those 40 people.
Yeah.
But people should have been, you
were wearing Wakanda? You're fine.
Yeah. but they brought that up in the debate, how the administration had information going back to January, and we all found out in March. Like the general populace found out in March, and that's
this should have been taken. Yeah. I personally believe that this should have been taken seriously immediately when they were even before when they were splashing these videos of Wuhan deserted and everything closed down and.
And here's the thing is that if certain administrations hadn't taken the advanced team out of China and disbanded the pandemic response team, we might have had information a lot sooner than they got in January.
And then when he closed the border to China, all travel back and forth to China.
But it wasn't all of it though.
But then he's like, oh, and then you guys called me a racist for doing it, and I saved all these lives. Like, well, if you didn't have a history of racist behavior,
right?
You
that was
told us in January that this was a pandemic on the way. Then maybe we wouldn't have said the things. That
that's exactly true.
But
here's
the thing, though: it's like 33,000 people still flew even after the travel ban.
Yeah, information breeds confidence. So if you would have told us and been forthright when you had the information. Then maybe
honestly,
we wouldn't have called you a racist because we would have known that this is.
But honestly, I wouldn't have.
You attacking China like you.
I wouldn't have
Mexico,
personally.
like you attacked Somalia.
Right, but if he would have said that in November, I personally wouldn't have, honestly, because when I first heard about the ban, I was pissed, because of the fact I I admit here, right? He did the right thing by closing the border when he did it. Should he have done it 3 weeks earlier? Absolutely. But I say that in hindsight. But the reason why I have to retract that and be honest about it is because I had 3 years of him talking about, I don't want immigrants here. I don't want Muslims here. I don't want, people from shithole countries here. Ilhan Omar should go home. All of this myriad of different things that he had said about anti-immigration all the way back since he came down the escalator. So it just seemed to me like it was an excuse to be able to shut down the borders. And as a spoiled American, having lived through swine flu and H1N1 and Zika and all this stuff that never really had a massive impact here, I was like, well, it's not going to be shit. He's just using this because of he wants to shut the borders down. But if they had come out at the time and said, look, this is the medical data, and let the Democratic side of Congress look at the information and echo that for him and say, look, we got to come together on this, I think it could have been very different. But I know we got to do our cigar portion here real quick, and actually I want to change it up a little bit, but I am curious, Vanessa, what is your thought before we talk about our last topic? What is your thought on your cohorts, your folks on the right, when it comes to well, actually, and I'll make it a 2-part question, because I know you said when we first talked that that it wasn't something you really, your political views aren't something that you really have had a chance to talk about a lot, and that you're excited to do that, and that's why you're here. What are your thoughts on that, what you wanted to come here to talk about? But start out with, what are your thoughts towards those on the Republican side who are so vehement about not wearing masks, and the Rose Garden ceremony where everybody's sitting next to each other with little kids and old people right next to each other, and just the aura around Trump now where he's saying don't be afraid of COVID because it can't, what is your thought as the wife of a physician and as a sensible human being on that mindset on the right?
Sure, absolutely. So yes, so with regards to wearing masks, I think it actually is a shame that we group Republicans into that category. In fact, I personally know more Republicans than Democrats that take wearing masks seriously. In fact, I know they love to joke. There's a little joke like, oh, if they're a Democrat if they're wearing a mask in the car. It's like, that's silly. No, I actually know a lot of Republicans that were doing that in the beginning. They would call me, they're like, Vanessa, should we be wearing masks when we're driving? I'm like, are the windows up? Like, where are you? Like, it was like silly. So, I mean, in all seriousness, my goodness gracious, hand sanitizer, social distance, keep your mask on. If you can wear an N95, for goodness sake, wear your N95. I will be honest, every now and then when I'm in public, I'll go, I'll stand off to a corner, be respectful, take a deep breath, and readjust my mask. Yeah. I mean, it's all that comes down to respect and the content of your character rather than your political viewpoint. So I just think it's unfortunate that we do have to group, Republicans wearing masks versus no masks. Yes, we have seen that trend of Republicans who, especially, and we were seeing video on the news of massive groups in Florida, for example, people that are like, fuck masks, that's stupid. I mean, that's stupid, narrow-minded, and I condemn that, and I don't support that behavior. So that, unfortunately, there's bad eggs everywhere we go. Unfortunately, that is a shame that has to, shed bad light on the Republican Party, and I'm ashamed of that. With the Rose Garden, again, same thing. I think I was one of those that spoke out like, wait, like, of course, Mike Pence had to be very delicate with that response. And it's like, no, dude, everyone should have been wearing a mask. I don't care that you're out. I mean, that's just utter stupidity. I also want to note, when President Trump walked into the White House and he had removed his mask. Okay. When he stood for the balcony on the photos, that was, in my like, more of a power position, like taking off that mask, standing there at attention. Okay, I get it. But if you just saying, if you care about the American people, you also care about the people naturally in the White House. Just put your mask back on, nod, thank you, salute, and walk inside.
I mean, he's
he was totally not. I don't think he was what was going on in his mind, honestly. But I did not agree with him
It's his
doing that.
narcissism and egomaniacalism that just takes
coolest
over.
mask. He could have the coolest mask ever. He has infinite money because he has the American dollar to make him the best mask. He could have like gold and like all kinds of cool like siphons. He could have the N195 mask if he wanted to, because the American government has to pay for it. And then he just rips it off. It's like this was an opportunity to show how cool masks could be, as opposed to I'm so strong I don't need it.
Your colleague also mentioned about specifically about how because of President Trump's statement of don't be afraid of the virus. That's a very relative statement. In general, those that are, I believe, and from my husband's perspective of being a physician, we both agree, and that yes, in general, those that are healthy and well should not be to let COVID take over their lives. However, be cautious, stop the spread, the whole spiel, masks, etc.
And we're friends.
And it's about
That's a
respect for other
no-brainer. It's
people.
common sense.
It's about respect for other people.
It's about respect, exactly. So when I see an elderly person, I actually told my children, I have 2 young children, I'll say, whenever you see an elderly person, go as far away from them as you can, because you don't want to accidentally give them and so my daughter saw at 90, I must have been like at least 95. He looked very, very old and was wearing a World War II veteran's hat, and she said, "Mommy, it's an old man, run!"
Oh my God.
And I saluted him. I said, "Thank you for your service. It's a long story."
Yes.
And he just looked, he's like, "What?"
Yeah,
No
I mean,
it's
it's
sweetheart. No idea what you're saying.
Yeah, he's like, "What?"
Can't hear you.
It's about being respectful of other people. I
Yeah,
mean,
pretty much.
if you're healthy, that doesn't mean
other people. You don't know what other people.
You don't know what other people are going through.
I know someone who suffered with she's suffered with kidney failure and some issues there, and she has a very serious case of COVID right now. I never knew that she had health issues.
Right.
Never knew that.
And here's the thing is that there's a lot of people who think they're healthy and they think they have nothing to worry about. And then bam, and you didn't know that you were in the early stages of heart failure, or you didn't know that you were in the early stages of some type of renal failure or something like that. Because,
or diabetes or something like
yeah,
that.
Yeah. You don't know that. There's if you haven't been to the doctor in a couple of years and gotten a full workup, there might be some stuff you don't know. And just because you haven't gotten severely sick doesn't mean you're always healthy. I know a young lady who's a CrossFitter. She runs marathons, and she got COVID, and she recovered, but she recovered quote unquote because 6 months later, she still can't go out for a jog because she is breathless after a few steps. I know people who fortunately, athletes of mine who've gotten COVID. And
hold on, Big House. I'm gonna interrupt you. Can you let them know what you do so that it's not just?
I'm sorry. I'm a personal trainer, and athletic performance coach.
Oh, okay.
So I've got a couple of athletes who've come down with COVID, and they can't even do the warm up of a training session. So I had to send them back to the doctor and say, "Hey, you got to go back to the doctor and make sure that your lungs haven't been compromised, and you have to, And this is months ago that they had COVID, So we have to be very careful when we talk about if you're healthy, don't be afraid, because sometimes people take that as in, oh, I'm healthy, so I don't need to wear my mask. I don't need to worry about this or that because if I do get it, the symptoms will be mild.
I'm invincible.
That's not necessarily true. There are a lot of very healthy people who've been severely compromised, and I know that there's got to be people out there who thought they were healthy, and that COVID brought out something that they were in the early stages of. So it's about, first and foremost, it's about respecting and protecting other people as we are supposed to want to do as Americans. And then, secondarily, be cautious for yourself because you don't know what might be going on with yourself. And you don't know what recovery might mean for you. It might mean getting back to what you were pre-COVID, or it might mean somewhat you're living, but you're not living the life you used to live.
Oof. And on that bombshell, I don't have the music house. I apologize, but I think it's time to take us to the humidor. What say you? The humidor we go?
We can go there.
Let's go there.
All right, so hi. It's the humidor.
And we're here. Wow, it's nice in here. Very humid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you having to touch it up? I notice.
A little bit. It's a Lancero, so sometimes it's not a lot of flame to help heat it up. And I just went on a little soliloquy there. So, but I've actually smoked this cigar before, but when I reviewed it, I was very emotional and wanting to get to talking about the Breonna Taylor travesty of justice by so-called Kentucky AG. What's his name? Cameron. So I didn't really get a chance to give it the just desserts that it deserved. So again, I am smoking on the War Witch Lancero. As you can see, is very thin, like almost like it's a little thicker than a cigar. Lancero from Black Star Line Cigars. And when, as a cigar smoker, as whatever level you are, novice or aficionado, when you want to get the full flavor of the cigar, you want to choose the Lancero Vitola, because most of the flavor and other nuances that you experience during a cigar smoking session come from the wrapper. And with the Lancero, because it's not a lot of filler, you get a lot of wrapper. So you get a lot more flavor and notes and other things from the cigar in its truest form. So this blend, this Vitola, the Lancero Vitola, just came out, I want to say like 3 weeks ago from Black Star Line. So I was fortunate to get my hands on a few, and I think I got 2 more left, and I'm really going to ration those out for myself.
Make them last.
Yes. So the War Witch Lancero is a Connecticut shade wrapper, and it is manufactured at the if you're in the cigar world, Aganorsa Leaf is one of the premier manufacturers to use for constructing your cigars. Okay. And this cigar, even though it's a Connecticut shade leaf, which is typically mild to medium Connecticut,
That's Tim's neck of the woods over there in Connecticut.
This is more of a medium to full. Okay. And you gotta be careful smoking this because it'll sneak up on you. All right. And so it's a Connecticut shade wrapper. The binder is a Nicaraguan Criollo. Yes. Criollo. I don't think I said that correctly, but I'm doing what I can. For the binder, and the filler is also from Nicaragua. The fillers are from Jalapa and Esteli, Nicaragua. Okay. It is, like I said, a Lancero, which is 6-inch by 46
ring gauge.
around ring gauge. Okay. And when you first light it up, you get a lot of pepper. It's really peppery. So if you like a spicy cigar, this is the one for you because you get a lot of pepper and spice, a hint of earth, some nuttiness in it. Pause. And I paired it with the Terramana small batch tequila,
Oh,
and some
nice.
Sprite. So the Sprite, of course, makes it a little sweeter, right?
And that is the tequila of Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Mm, it's pretty good too. But what it does is it turns down the volume on the spice that you get,
Okay.
and you get a little bit of a sweeter essence from it that comes from the cigar. Because if I drink a drink and I don't take a puff, the sweetness is different from just the drink to where you take a drink and then you take a puff. But there's a sweetness there, and I want to say, what would I call it? It's a candy that it tastes like a candy that is not super sweet, but they consider it a candy. I can't place what I would call it right now, but it's a little bit of sweetness.
Like a wine
Way
candy?
No, wine candy super sweet. Wine candy super sweet, but you know, anyway, you get some sweetness from it, and that's like I say all the time, it's just me. Um, and I really like the cigar. And fun fact, the name War Witch comes from the Canadian film of the same name that was released in 2012. And it was a war film um, about a child soldier forced into a civil war in Africa who is believed to be a witch.
Oh.
So, fun fact about the naming of the cigar. And the name Black Star Line is an homage to Marcus Garvey, the civil rights leader and famous black nationalist who was advocating for blacks to take ships, the Black Star Line, back to Africa to return to their homeland because this land had been so cruel to them. So that's a little bit of context around the naming of the brand and the naming of the cigar.
Leafs.
I really like this cigar. I like the War Witch and all of its vitolas. I've had the Robusto, I've had the Corona, and now this is the Lancero.
Whoa, you had the Rona? Oh my! Let me microphone.
I had that War Witch Rona. That's the good Rona. That's the good Rona. Okay. I really like it because it is a slow burner. I actually, as you all know, I joined in a little bit late, and I was actually smoking this cigar at work, and one of my side hustles to my side hustle. I do a little something at a cigar lounge, and we had a little Thursday night football event that I had to attend. And I was smoking this during the second half, and as you can see, there's still about 3.5 inches left. Pause. That I can work on. So it's a slow burner. I will say, as you can tell, it's a nice even burn. Okay, the construction is great. The wrapper, as you can see, well, I don't know if you can see, but the wrapper is pretty smooth for the most part. There's a couple of veins in it. Pause. But it's a very attractive looking wrapper, and the band, which I love, is gold with black writing and red and black on it. But there's also a little bit of embossing that really makes it stand out. And especially beginner cigar smokers, they do a lot of cigar picks by the band, and this is an attractive band. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for the very beginning cigar smoker because it is sneaky strong, and if you haven't eaten or you haven't eaten enough, it will put you on your ass. I know the first time I smoked it, I had the Corona Vitola, and
was that bigger than the Lancero?
Yes. Well, okay. The ring gauge is bigger, but the size is about 5.5 inch. Pause.
So about an inch smaller, but fatter.
An inch smaller, but fatter. So some people like that better than But it definitely gave me a little bit of of a high. I don't necessarily want to say a high, but I got a little something off of it. And I hadn't eaten much, and you could tell that I hadn't eaten much because I went to stand up and I was like, okay, this got a little kick to it. So you got to be careful. I would recommend this more for the intermediate to advanced smoker. But as far as a leaf rating, out of 5 leaves, which 5 being the best, this is a 4.7 for me. I really like this cigar. I really like it. I'd probably smoke it every day if I could. The price point, if you want to get a box of 20, you're looking at about $150. Well, I'm sorry, $250, $260 for a box of 20. But if you're a cigar smoker and you like full or medium to full cigars, and you like a spicy cigar, and you like a cigar that's going to be a slow burner so that you can kind of really sit back and watch golf or watch a football game or watch a baseball game and only have to really work with one cigar the whole time, this cigar is the one for you. Yes. And it pairs well with bourbon. It pairs well with tequila. I'm going to try it with some coffee soon and see how it pairs with coffee. I'm really getting into trying to pair my cigars with non-alcoholic drinks as well to see how they pair. Just because if I'm going to be out at a lounge or something, I don't want to be sipping on a bourbon for 3 or 4 hours and then get into a car. So, what I've in my preliminary research, what I've heard, fun fact, Dr. Pepper soda pairs really well with a lot of cigars because Dr. Pepper, of course, has a myriad of flavors within the mix. So different cigars pull different flavors out. So that I'm not a pepper. I am not a Dr. Pepper drinker, but I think I'm going to try that with some different cigars just to see what different flavors I get from different cigars in pairing with Dr. Pepper as well. We got a comment here, a question from Chaz Hubbard. It says sober October. Well, yeah,
I'm not
it's not necessarily a sober October. It's just as a cigar enthusiast, I would not call myself an aficionado by any means because there's so much more I need to learn. But as a cigar enthusiast, I want to diversify my palate and experience other parts of cigar smoking as much as possible. And also, if I'm ever in a situation where I can't drink, but I want to smoke a cigar, I still got an excuse to do so.
Got him.
So that is my review of the Black Star Line Warwich Lancero.
4.7 leafises on the
Yes.
old Haas's
And if you've had, that's right. And if you've had the Warwich and you hear this and you have some other thoughts, feel free to contact us, comment, send us an email, send us a carrier pigeon, and let us know what your thoughts are. Because, like I said, I'm just
pigeons over here.
I'm just one person, and everybody's cigar smoking experience is going to be different. You're going to experience different things because your palate will be different than mine, and that's what makes the cigar culture as great as it is.
And that is a successful rendition of Haas's Humidor. I'm going to bring it back to the piano. Dutch has left us for just a bit. We'll see if he returns.
So let's talk about the Bears.
No. Stupid Bears. Why are you
They
still watching
won.
football?
They won.
Football is stupid, Haas.
Who'd the Bears play?
The Bucks. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well,
Vanessa,
screw that guy.
Vanessa, are you a big
Foles did it
footballer?
again. Foles did it again.
I'm pretty much. I watched the Super Bowl. That's pretty much it.
All right.
That's all you need to watch, really. All the rest
That's
of the
pretty
stuff is just foreplay.
Oh no,
Just
there was
nibbling for the
they were laying the lumber out there today.
Oh,
They were putting some hits out there today. I'm a former football player, so I appreciate good football. And I will say
kicker.
this:
he was a kicker. Don't let his size fool you.
Yeah, I
used to
was the
kick
kicker.
field goals.
Yeah. I know I was only the onside kicker.
Oh, okay. There you go. There you go.
Oh no! If they didn't want,
But-
if they had no idea where the ball wanted to go, that's who they'd be
Right.
like, hey, Hans, why don't you kick it?
Right. I'm gonna kick it to the left. But I will say this: as a Bears fan, I was very, very troubled by the play calling of our coach at the end of the game. He was trying to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, I think, because he made some questionable calls at the end that gave Tom Brady the ball back with like a minute and a half left. And I thought that was a recipe for disaster, but Tom turned 43 and it looked like it.
Nice.
I know exactly how you feel with the play calling and the coaches because I am unfortunately a Cowboys fan.
Oh, baby. I used to be a Cowboys fan. I used to be a diehard Cowboys fan. And guess what, Tim? About 7 or 8 years ago, the Cowboys were playing the Bears, and they were beating the Bears' ass. And I turned the game off. I was so pissed.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, shit. I'm a goddamn Bears fan now.
It happened to you.
They did me like the Borg. They assimilated me.
I've already written off this season.
Oh shit! Vanessa went Blair Witch Project on us.
She's so scared right now.
You gotta produce some mucus from your left nostril.
Have it written down. Do you have allergies? Can you get like a flower or something? Just sprinkle it around. Oh, Chaz, Chaz is booing you. He booed me because I said I don't watch football. Now he's booing
me?
Yeah, for being a Cowboys.
For being a
fan.
Cowboys fan, that's okay. I know the hate.
Vanessa,
I know
Vanessa
the hate.
only watches the Super Bowl. He didn't boo her.
She only watched the
know the
Super
hate.
Bowl.
Listen, I don't know why you're booing me. The Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl since 1999. So, we haven't even gotten to the game in
the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Vanessa, what is it? What is are you a sports person at all or no? And if you are, what is your sport that you watch?
Yeah, so I actually used to be an avid New York Rangers ice hockey viewer. I also would watch the New York Yankees when, like, when the big, like, Hideki Matsui and A-Rod, like when they and Derek Jeter, of course, like, and the more the big players. But now,
Derek Jeter.
If you were to ask me, like, who's playing anymore, or was it Cabrera, I believe, like who's playing on the, I would be like, I honestly haven't sat down and watched a game in who knows how long. Same with I don't know what it is. I think when young children get come into the play, no pun intended, that I don't have time anymore for anything.
Until they start playing.
Right.
Now, I will ask you this: is it true that hockey is much more exciting and fun at the game than it is to watch on TV?
Oh, absolutely. For undergrad, I went to Manhattanville College, and for many years we were known for our men's ice hockey team. Women were very strong too, but particularly the men's ice hockey team. I never missed a game. Never missed a game, and God, that was just amazing. But then when I went to, of course, see the New York Rangers, that was just incredible.
That's crazy.
How fast they go, and just so much energy.
Now, me and Haas live in Chicago, so you know which team you're gonna have to defend against. I don't even watch hockey. I watched the playoffs when the Blackhawks won the playoffs one year.
That's right.
And we were doing celebratory Jaeger bombs when we scored a goal, and then misery bombs if the other team scored. Well, that playoff game, the score was 7-5, and I don't remember the next 4 days after that. Who scores 7-5 in hockey? We never expected it to be that much. We went through a whole handle of Jägermeister. It was a bad day.
Jaeger. You're taking me back to my Eastern Illinois days, man.
It was a rough time. So I think I have a little PTSD from hockey. Just because they decided to just not have goalkeepers for a playoff game, and I almost died from
alcohol poisoning. Yeah. So you're in California right now, Vanessa?
That is correct. Yes.
Are you there forever, or are you there?
Just so all my cousins live out here on my mother's. Well, they're my second cousins technically, but three of them have
So you can
birthdays in
marry
a
one if
row.
you want it.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, except they're all girls. So
Well, you can still get
It's
married.
California. Do your thing.
It is California.
oh God, they are so. I'll just say they're sleeping now. They're so different here.
Really?
Look what they hand me. The first thing I get here. These aren't I went to go open this and think they were Skittles. They aren't Skittles.
What are they?
They're like
Is it edibles?
Edibles. Like that's the. I'm just off the plane.
Cluster
They hand me their
pearls. Oh my
they hand me
goodness.
they hand me their bong and their medicated Skittles. It's like the first thing they hand me, and I'm like,
can you ship those to me for testing? I'll make sure that you should.
Yeah.
oh, this is so. The first time I come here, their father's my mom's cousin is he gives me a whole stack of these edible brownies, and I'm about to go to a speak at a conference, and I'm like, ooh, and I threw them in the garbage.
Oh
and
shit!
I threw them in the garbage.
Mikey Faminier is about to die. His head's about to explode.
I've just entered the edible game. Why would you throw them away?
No. What happened was, I threw them away.
She said what had happened was.
I threw them away.
Did they pull them out the garbage?
Someone over.
That's right.
They were. It was like tied up with like spaghetti from like last. It was gross. And all of a sudden, I said, to my cousin, I said, "Oh, just to be aware, there are a stack of brownies, and I don't want the kids to think that they could eat those." And then she goes, "Are those marijuana?" I said, "Yeah, but don't." And she just didn't even let me speak. She just dove right in, grabbed them, and she goes, "What are you crazy?"
You give those kids a corner of those brownies to take the edge off at night. So
she goes, "We're going to Disneyland. We're taking these with us."
So here's the thing.
You have to eat them.
That sounds like a sitcom episode.
What you just did was you took $100 and you put it in the garbage can.
I found that out.
They're mad at you. You put money in the garbage.
They took it out. They're like, "What are you nuts?" Well, so they were
communist.
That legit sounds like a sitcom episode. Like you could write comedy out of that.
Yeah. Now,
someone says to me, "What are you nuts? You could sell those on eBay." They're like, what are you nuts? And I'm like, I'm speaking. I don't want anyone doing any drug tests or any weird or me sounding like I'm off my hinges.
What do you do, Vanessa?
I own a media and marketing company, and I'm a freelance food writer. And at the time, I was writing. I was going to the Natural Product Expo or Expo West over in Anaheim. This is last March. And I do a lot of wellness coverage, specialty food and such, particularly in the wellness angle. So I'll go to those conventions. I'll go to the fancy food show in Manhattan, for example, in normal times. So I do a lot. I basically in happy times I would basically eat myself silly and get a lot of good stuff and be able to try it before the world got to try this food. So it was fun. Yeah, I don't do that anymore though.
Tim, where are you from? Are you from Illinois?
No, I'm not from Illinois. I live in Connecticut.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
First go up.
So yeah, that's why I hate Tom Brady.
Yeah.
That motherfucker.
As for what I do, the real question is what don't I do?
Okay, you sound like me. You're almost Jamaican.
Yeah. I am a bookkeeper for a company that does online therapy services for schools.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I know that Medicaid is a fuck. Because they never pay anything ever. I also just bought a food truck. So
what you selling? What are you selling, dude?
Yeah. It's gonna be a grilled cheese food truck, grilled cheese and soup.
Okay, so how many different types of grilled cheese do you have right now?
Currently the menu's up to 10, but it's gonna be like a rotating menu, so it's gonna be
10 different types of grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Okay, what is your favorite? What is your favorite one on the menu right now? What's
top three?
All right, top three. So number 3, there's this one that I'm making we're gonna call it the Capri sandwich. It's gonna be grilled chicken, mozzarella cheese, and balsamic reduction, like a glaze.
Oh, so it'll be on the outside of the bread?
It'll be it'll be in the bread. It'll be like toasted into the bread.
Oh, really? You got to send some of this stuff to Vanessa and have her
I
give
might.
you a little.
If she's a food reviewer, I'll just send it to her. I'll drive there. No, it's far
It's
too
a
long.
long drive.
The-
Wait till she gets back to Long Island.
So-
I'm originally from. I grew up in Roxbury, Connecticut, so
Oh, okay.
sort of,
All
sort
right.
of, yeah.
Yeah.
And then what's number 2?
All right. So number 2 is gonna have to be classic. Like, no, actually, number 2. All right. So I don't know if I invented this or it's already been invented, but a triple decker grilled cheese.
Oh, that's not like when I make I make triple decker peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all the time.
It's exactly like that, but it's cheese instead of peanut butter and jelly. So I got
Is
two
it different types of cheese?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's one side of it is like Munster cheese and the other side is cheddar.
Okay.
And then the center slice is grilled too. So like you get the crispiness in the center.
Well,
triple crisp has my name written all over it.
Yep. And then number one is old school, tomato and bacon and like American cheese. That's my favorite grilled cheese ever.
Okay.
Do you have any spicy varieties?
We do. We're gonna have buffalo chicken grilled cheese.
Okay.
And we're also going to have a chipotle grilled cheese. So it's got like the spicy chipotle sauce in it.
Mm-hmm.
I used to hate Chipotle, like the flavor.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more and more spice I love. Like
yeah,
spice
me
has
too.
become like a whole new like text. Like it's like a whole new palette of ways to taste food now. And I was currently unaware of.
Yeah, I used to hate like Tabasco sauce or like really spicy salsa, but now I love it. Like I can't get enough of it, and I don't know why.
I think it's 'cause we're getting old. I think.
When are you planning to launch? When are you planning to launch?
We're hoping to be operational by the end of the month. We have to. So fun story. I bought the truck in Maryland. Yeah, I bought the truck in Maryland.
I'm trying to get to Maryland, motherfucker.
And so me and my business partner, we got down there the night before we were supposed to pick up the truck. Easy, fine, whatever. Just 95 all the way down. And we buy the truck and everything, and the truck is a used FedEx truck that got converted into a food truck. So it's like one of those big Freightliner vans.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't go very fast.
How
not
very fast?
Is it ice cream truck slow? Is it ice cream truck slow, or is it old lady on the expressway slow?
I can't go faster than 55 on the interstate.
Oh, so you're old lady on the expressway slow.
Yeah, yeah. And uphills, it's even slower. So we had to take the back roads through Pennsylvania and Maryland and New York and go through and we had to go through the Poconos and like all the mountains over there. It took forever. It took 10 hours to drive it from Maryland to Connecticut when it took us 4 hours to go from Connecticut to Maryland in a regular car.
Yeah, at least you didn't break down in one of those backwoods towns.
Oh, listen, we drove through quite a few of those towns.
I'm saying.
The worst part is because Maryland doesn't issue in transit plates.
Mm-hmm.
I had to drive the truck without license plates on it.
Oh, so shit!
My business partner was in his car behind me the entire time, making sure the state troopers passing by didn't say, "Oh, hey, that truck doesn't have license plates. Let's pull him over."
I'll take things that black people cannot do for 100. Alex.
Exactly. You want to drive this food truck with no plates on it?
My business partner is a black guy, so I was like, "Listen,
that's why he was in the car behind you.
If I get pulled over, just keep going. Don't even stop for me. Just keep going."
I'll take the ticket and then we'll talk about it later.
Yeah,
just stop a half a mile down.
Yeah, exactly. I'll meet you there after I get the ticket.
Man.
But he was like, "You're driving so slow. I hated you so much." I was like, "There's nothing I can do." It's essentially a giant sail. So if it's windy,
a giant sail.
Yeah, if it's windy, the truck just gets pushed.
Uh-huh.
In whatever direction the wind is going.
Tailwind.
Yeah. Yeah, and I did not want to get like hit with any big gusts of wind because it would rock the whole truck.
Right.
So
have you had to do any refurbishments or anything to the truck after you got it, or is it just plug and play?
So I did have to have it cleaned because the person who owned it previously did not know how to clean it at all. Like it was gross.
They didn't have chores as a child, huh?
No. So the only thing I have to do right now is get the flat top. I have a flat top grill, like a steel flat top grill. It has to be refurbished because there's so much rust on it.
Oh.
But I'm just gonna. My partner's gonna bring a grinding
That's
wheel.
part of the flavor, dude. That's part of the flavor. That's organic.
But nothing has to be replaced. It's in good condition otherwise.
That's good.
We're gonna add a few things to it so we can have like drinks and stuff. There's no coolers for that currently.
Now, what's the
but-
plan? Are you planning to try to set up outside of venues? Are you planning to be outside of like corporate offices and stuff like that around lunchtime? What's the plan?
So we have two plans, and whichever one happens is fine. Currently, we're either targeting breweries, like microbreweries, where
Beautiful.
That's a great plan. A lot of trucks here in Illinois do that.
Yeah, because they don't have their own kitchens for the most part, so they hire food trucks.
Food sucks.
Yeah, or their food sucks. Or we're actually going after some universities who are not allowed to have their cafeterias open because of COVID, and all those college students need somewhere to eat.
Oh yeah, trust me.
Get you some grilled cheese magnets or like layouts for the floor. Put them 6 feet apart. Get your line going. You got your cue. You're good to go.
Yep.
What you got to do is find those the poppin' club.
Yeah. Well, in Connecticut,
right
clubs aren't allowed to be open right now.
Because they love their citizens.
Yeah.
I think we just started like the third phase of our reopening, and clubs and bars still aren't allowed to be open, but restaurants can be at like 75% capacity.
Whoa. Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah. And there's like a special workaround for breweries. As long as they have like an outdoor patio, they can do whatever they want.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're right at the 2.5 hour mark, and this is going to be fun for Dutch to edit because it's not my turn.
I know all about the audio editing.
Yeah,
I got one more question for Vanessa though.
Yeah, do that, and then we're gonna do a wrap, and then we're gonna get out of here.
All righty. Okay.
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. here in Connecticut.
Yeah. It's a little after 1 here. So, Vanessa, quick question for you. All right, so we know you do the speaking and the health and wellness and food and stuff, and we know that you used to be kind of hockey and baseball. But like, what does Vanessa do to let her hair down now?
Like for God,
it cannot be kid related. It cannot be kid related. What do you do?
I feel like I don't know who I'm like. I feel like I'm attached to the hip because my daughter's doing virtual school and my son's in nursery school in person, and I feel who's going to school? I feel like saying Sarah, and she's like, Mommy, don't forget to scan the homework in.
Right.
Don't forget to scan the homework in. And I go, so it's whose deadline is it? Of me time?
Yes.
This is really sad. I have to really think long and hard about it. Oh my God.
Okay, what would you do?
Wow.
If you had 3 hours of specifically Vanessa time, no work, no kids, no husband.
She's gonna weep. Stop.
You just get to be Vanessa for 3 hours. What would you do?
Well, I'm ideally okay. I just took up golf about 2 months ago, and I've been going to the driving range. So I would love to play more golf and tee off more because I really want to actually get started playing 9 holes of golf soon. And I'd like to pick tennis up again and finally learn how to play. And I was a professional violinist for 20 years. A lot of people don't even know that about me.
Why didn't we talk about? I didn't know that.
Nobody. It's one of those like, God, I don't want to sound like I'm a jack of all trades, but yeah, I'm not young.
Where
young
did you
anymore,
play?
I played with the Westchester County Community Orchestra for 4 years, and then I was in London. I didn't play when I was living over there, but I would just attend the London Symphony Orchestra and these like little like neighborhood chamber orchestras. And I would practice over there with like-minded violin.
I have a deep, unadulterated love for classical music.
I love classical as well.
Yeah, it's
now don't ask
I'd
me.
love to pick that back up. That's pretty much it.
Now, do you still have a violin in your possession?
I do. Yes, I have 2. I have my practice violin, I called it, and my my
You got your play clothes and your church clothes.
right, exactly.
Okay.
And with the whole the whole, and then I'd love to, I mean, my dream is to buy a Stradivari violin, which is one of the most Stradivarius, yeah, exactly, that's it. And then
Okay.
that was like a dream of mine, which it still is. And then I'm related to, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Mueller, the clarinets, and he was Peinzel and Mueller. I'm related to him, so he was.
So it's in the genes.
Yeah, so he actually made his violins and clarinets are like highly coveted, and unfortunately, well, long story, my family sucks, and they just like didn't pass it down properly, and now I would literally have to buy my own.
Yeah, to buy your family stuff back
on eBay. It's
Vanessa.
Ew, no.
Your middle name is like OJ now. You got to buy your own stuff back.
Hopefully for the right reason.
Or just like,
can you see Vanessa busting into a hotel room? Give me my shit.
just kick in some glass and you're all good to go.
And I found out one of the sellers actually lived in Connecticut. I seriously felt like knocking on the door. My husband's Chris.
Hey, get the shit, Chris. Let's get out of here.
I feel like knocking. Hey, you give me a discount, something?
Yeah,
no,
this is my family
you'd
shit.
probably hike up the price. So
you know,
like,
just
oh,
pull
you?
up your 23andMe on your phone, like, if you look here, I'm actually related to the person.
It's technically mine.
And then they'll say, so you really want this then, huh?
They would tick the price up for me.
Actually, it's $10,000, not $200.
Right,
pretty much, yeah, pretty much. So.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So, did you eat any of the edibles yet?
No, I'm not eating this stuff. I don't know what they're trying to do to me over here.
I will tell you something. As a person who had his first edible this summer, don't eat the whole thing. Eat a half.
I swear, all of a sudden they tossed this on me. They just put it next to me, and I was like, and I was literally not even gonna look and just start eating them.
Oh my God!
That would
have been a great speaking engagement.
I have to watch. They fed me strawberry shortcake earlier.
Like, why is
everything
that's bad taste so good?
Yeah, no, it's California. It's California. There's pot in everything.
They be like, oh, she's high. She's high.
You gotta watch out. There's pot in the water.
On the package, does it say how many like milligrams are on there? Like, what is it like? Tell us what it says for like THC.
Government warning.
Whoa!
No,
this
skip
package
that part.
contains.
Skip.
Oh. Okay.
How many milligrams?
Yeah, how many milligrams?
70. It doesn't say.
Oh, that's even worse.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, I lied.
Okay.
400 average.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
So that's 400. That 400 is for the entire package. How many?
Yeah.
So it'll let you know how many milligrams are in each.
How many
one.
servings? How many servings
They're
is
probably 20. Wait, 20 average per piece.
Oh, 20 milligrams per piece.
Oh,
is that bad?
That's like, so I'm new to this edible game. I'm so glad that it became recreational in Illinois.
I don't.
So
what is this stuff? What does it do?
I never smoked weed ever. I've tried it like a couple times.
They already gave me the pipe. Where's that pipe? They gave it the second I come to the door.
It doesn't do it for me. It made me
I tried it. I'm
paranoid.
like, I don't feel anything.
It made me paranoid, and because I used to be a smoker, so I hit it like a cigarette, and they're like, that was too much. I'm like, what do you mean it's too much? I just took a drag. And then I was like seeing shit. It was a whole thing. But that was 2 years ago that I did those puffs. I ate an edible that was 10 milligrams. First of all, I laughed for 45 minutes.
Yep.
Good.
God.
Good core workout.
This would have been quite fascinating because I could be quite a giggly gal.
If you had done a handful of those things,
I would have. You
would have been calling 911 saying,
on your ass.
I'm dying.
Yeah.
You would have been so, like, I was so high from a 10 milligram.
I would have been so mortified.
Yeah.
You would have been in trouble. You would have been in trouble. So if they're saying there's 20 milligrams in each one, you should eat a quarter of that.
Yeah.
A quarter of that will get you like a good like buzz high feeling.
Kind of even you out.
As opposed to like I had 10 milligrams at once and I was like
I'm
really
horrified.
High. Yeah.
If you're a weed virgin, just do half.
Right.
Half or a quarter of that. And make sure you don't have anything to do the next day because it's going to take you some time to.
Yes.
Oh, I
My
have a
father-in-law.
Eat it right before you get on your flight.
I have a media visit tomorrow. Like,
Oh yeah, you'd have been messed up.
no.
My
Oh, no,
father-in-law.
You'd have been in deep trouble.
My
Yeah.
father-in-law gave me a weed edible gummy. It was about that big, real small. But it was about 80 milligrams,
Oh yeah, you're messed up.
and I ate the whole thing because he.
Oh my God.
Here's what he did. He took 2 and popped them in his mouth,
Oh my God.
and he gave me 1. And I was like, oh well, I popped it in my mouth. When I tell you that I had every type of high there was.
Yep. You go
Oh
through
my
the 5
God.
stages of fucking high.
Right. Like everything, all the colors turn vibrant. Right. And I was like, that tree is fucking green as shit.
Oh my
Now,
God.
the
Well, I
bad
knew-
part about it was
my
this.
God.
I was on the grill. I was grilling.
Oh my God.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
So I'm in the middle of grilling my famous lemon pepper chicken thighs.
Ooh, lemon.
Mikey, you know what I'm talking about.
He be cooking it up on that grill. I can't even front. He doing his thing out there. I can't even front.
And all the colors got vibrant. And I'm sitting on the deck and I'm looking at the trees and the sky and stuff. I'm like, holy shit. Everything looks so great. And then I yawned, right? And it was like the influx of oxygen active. It was like engage. And all of a sudden, I break out into this sweat. I've got goose pimples all over myself. I had to sit down. I sat down and I stared at one spot for maybe about 20 minutes. And then, like my mother-in-law's there, my father-in-law's there, my wife's there, the kids and everything. I stand up and I walk upstairs to the bedroom and I lay on the bed face down. Okay. And I turn you know how you turn your head to the side to lay down? I felt like I could feel my brain going out of my ear.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then it felt like all of the tension in my body was just draining out and I could feel it draining and swirling around the sink. And then I got the spins, right? And I had to fix the spins. So I'm holding on to the bed. Then my wife comes upstairs and she's like, get it together. My dad's out there on the grill, right? Because they finally figured out that I wasn't there. And I'm like, okay, I'll try. I tried 3 separate times to get up off that bed.
You're too heavy.
I ended up back on the bed in 3 different positions face down. So then she comes upstairs. My wife comes upstairs. She's like, come on, you got to get it together. And I just started laughing. And I could not stop laughing. And you know what I said? I said, baby, your parents going to have to spend the night because I can't watch these kids. Man, I was so high. And I had the giggles, I had the sweats, I had the spins, I had the vibrant colors, I had the staring off into space, I had the psychedelic, like even with my eyes closed, it was like a kaleidoscope in my head. It was crazy. So
Tim,
the next
Tim, it sounds like you've imbibed a few times.
No, not me, but my brother, he lives out in California and he was a pothead before the edible things happened. So I may have gotten a contact high once or twice, but.
And I will say this, I've never smoked weed or anything before I had that edible. So I was a gold star version.
Yeah.
Well,
in the LGBT community, a lesbian who's never been with a man and a gay guy who's never been with a woman, they're called gold stars.
Okay.
And I was a gold star to THC and marijuana and all that stuff.
Yeah, my brother's a full-on hippie, so he's out there.
He lives out of a Volkswagen bus.
He had a Volkswagen for a long time. Yeah.
The turtle van, as I call them.
Did we lose Vanessa?
I think we might have.
Oh, wait. Is she coming back? She's coming back. She's back.
Yay.
Hey, V.
Sorry about that. They didn't tell me where the charger was put for the laptops.
Oh.
I was like,
When you first popped out, I was like, oh, she's about to change. She's changing clothes or something.
Costume change.
Right. Wardrobe change.
Yeah. All right. So we're running a little bit long in the tooth, but that's cool. And I'm glad we all got to share our weed stories and weed precautionary tales.
Yes.
Vanessa, Tim, thank you guys so much for being here. And one more time for everybody who's watching at home on their couch, I will solo each one of you, starting with Tim, because Vanessa's been able to go first every time. Tim, tell the people what you do, who you be, and how they can find you and give you monies.
Oh, okay. Well, just just give me money. So yeah. I'm Tim. Man, all the things I do. So I'm starting a food truck. By the way, the name of the truck is the Melting Truck.
Ooh.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, we're gonna have the design's gonna be like cheese melting over the truck in the front half, so it's gonna be cool.
Okay.
Let's see. The thing I was originally here to plug is my podcast. It's called the Writer's Basement Podcast. You can find it on Facebook. We have an Instagram, and you can find us on Google Podcasts and Spotify and all the fun stuff, iTunes. It's a podcast about writing and pop culture and all that stuff.
Okay.
And we have a Patreon. So if you go to Patreon, it's patreon.com/the Writer's Basement Podcast if you want to give us money. And yeah, I don't really have anything else to plug. I can't nobody listening to this is going to care about the candidate that I work for. So
you never know. You never know.
You never know. All right, so the candidate I work for, he's running for the 121st district in Connecticut. His name is Phil Young. Go out and vote for Phil Young on election day. Also, go out and vote in general because you're supposed to. It's your civic duty. If you don't
That's
vote,
right.
I learned this thing very recently. It's gonna sound weird because I was a TED Talk, but this guy said that not voting is a form of voting because when you don't vote, you give power to people whose interests are contrary to yours. So go out and vote because if you don't vote, you're just giving other people power.
Word. Awesome. Ms. Vanessa. Who you be? One more time for people who are tuning in late, maybe. Where can they find you and how can they give you the monies?
Okay, so I have Venmo. You could Venmo me at no. Hi everyone. So my name is Emily Teaton. My name is please keep the money and use it wisely for yourself. But anyway, my name is Vanessa Gordon. I am the publisher and CEO of East End Taste Magazine. We are East End, E as in Edward, N as in Nancy, D as in David, tastemagazine.com. You can find us on most major social media channels except TikTok at East End Taste. And we also, with our event series, we are at Hampton's Interactive Brunch on Instagram. And hope to see you, and hopefully when we're back to normal, we'll be doing events and hope to see you there.
Real quick, Tim, what's your Twitter handle?
It's at Tim Bristol. That's my Twitter handle.
Spell Bristol for those who are phonetically challenged.
Sure, Bristol.
Like the city.
Like the city.
Connecticut.
So I'll do my little final thing, and then I will have Big Haas sign us out. Thank you everybody for joining us. Sorry, Dutch had to drop out. Family emergency. These things do happen. This is live, actual content, and if you enjoy independent media, if you like people having conversations without the fetters of corporate money, by all means go to our Patreon, www.patreon.com/VFU podcast. A little bit helps. Every little bit helps, and as a community that we're hoping that will grow and blossom, that gives us more time off of work so that we can do more things that you guys like. Make sure you go to our website, vfupodcast.yolasite.com. And that's pretty much all I have. I just have the shilling stuff. And to close us out for the night, Beg Hussein, because my name is Dutch.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Hey, people. Thank you, number one, for listening or watching or however you're consuming us right now. We really appreciate you. And I just want to say, if you have differing opinions or differing ideologies from other people, don't throw eggs. Talk. Talk. Those people who threw eggs at my house, guess what? If right now they would just ring the doorbell and say, hey, that flag really offends me, we could have a conversation. Why? Why does that flag offend you? What emotions are coming in and have a conversation? Because there is no progress without intersection. There is no progress without interaction. There is no progress without um, learning about one another. And that's one of the big effective tools of segregation and keeping us apart. It didn't used to be that way. That's something that was systemically enacted in this country, keeping ethnicities apart. And because guess what? Before it was systemically enacted, a lot of people lived together, and it was people who knew they learned about each other and they understood each other better. And in all actuality, the relationships were better between ethnicities and races before the systemic segregation really got into full swing in the late 1800s into the 1900s. So we must have conversations across ideologies. Don't stay in your echo chamber. That's for anybody, left, right, Catholic, Jewish, Muslim, whatever. You can't stay in your echo chamber. You can't stay amongst yourself and point and pass judgment on people that you haven't taken time to know. And I think that is super, super important, is to have these uncomfortable conversations, these difficult conversations. People say, don't talk politics, don't talk religion, and don't talk something else. And I say, yeah, you definitely should have those conversations. Race, don't talk race. And I think that one of the great bridge building mechanisms for us as people is interaction. And that's why sports are so great, because those type Jews, Catholics, Irish, Italian, Black, whatever, you all get thrown together on a team. Could be hockey, like Vanessa, the Rangers. It could be baseball. It could be football. It could be something. It could be an orchestra. That's a team, and it's different people from different backgrounds that all get to know each other. And despite what's going on in the outside world, where everything is separated, these people on these teams have gotten to know each other. And you find that the relationships and the interactions and the understandings between those people are better. And they in turn go out and for lack of a better term, evangelize to others who may not have that opportunity. And I just think that we have to have courage and be brave and have those conversations that we tend to shy away from, because shying away from those conversations is one of the big driving forces in what keeps us apart. So seek out that which is different from you and try to understand it from their point of view. Have some empathy, have some compassion, and most of all, have an open mind and heart. If you do that, you'll find that our intersections are more than our differences.
And on that bombshell, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. Thank you to our lovely, lovely guests for joining us.
Yes, Tim, you're lovely, Tim. Oh my God,
Tim. I see him.
The under chin beard is doing it, man.
Yeah.
I know, right? If I didn't
hates
have this, I'd look like I was 15. So,
well, you look like a reformed Amish guy, but that's all right.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It has been a fantastic show. See you guys on the next time. Peace out. Have a good night.
Peace. 2 fingers.